is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em a shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil Porto, aka Phil All Caps of the Knicks Nightcap, and I'm excited to be with you guys today. As you can see, my background is a little bit different. No, I am not in my mobile traveling vehicle. That is our house. I'm actually visiting my family, so I am in my brother's studio right now. So shout out to my brother, Jiggaman Porto. He's downstairs. It's not feeling so great, so keep him in your prayers. But if it feels better, I'm going to bring him up during the open panel a little bit later and just chop it up about the Knicks, because me and him watched the game together last night, and we are actually going to be at the game tomorrow in Charlotte. So if you are a Knicks fan that's going to be in Charlotte, please make sure to link up with me tomorrow. I will have stickers. I will have some cards of Apollo and I, and we're just trying to, get things out there. Just trying to get out there and be able to chat with more of you guys in the different cities that I travel through. Shout out to my guy State in the building. We will be having open panel in a little bit, and I would love to hear State's takes because they're either always on point or hilarious. It's one of those two. But either way, I support and love that dude, so I appreciate him. Shout out to my guy Lee Escobedo, who also reposted this stream. Thank you so much. Seriously, means a lot to me that I have your guys' support, people that I truly respect in the game, people that put in the hard work. Whether you like someone's content or not, you have to support and honor the grind. And so shout out to those guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. And so since I am in Charlotte, without further ado, I have to bring up my brother, my homie, my co-host, Mr. Apollo frickin' Freed. I don't know why I put in the frickin' there, but it just sounded right. And I also needed time to scroll down to get to my air horn sound. So I'm going to bring up Apollo right now with a...
Peace. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm here, man. I made it. It's a long day. I'm tired. I'm drained actually, but I'm here, man. Especially when it comes to the Knicks and then now whiskey. I'm all for it.
I love it, bro. I love it. And I know that you have been not just grinding content-wise, but getting back into the regular grind of life and everything like that. So how's that adjustment been with work and all that?
It's been cool. I finally talked my doctor into getting me out of the working boot, the walking boot, because it just wasn't working out. I was limping around, and it really made things worse in a way. You know what I mean? So, the upgraded to, because I don't need the walking boot anyway. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's it was pointless. But now that they upgraded me to an ankle brace that I have to use while I'm working, which is cool. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. So it's been cool. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I'm getting a little bit better, but I'm just trying to get out on the court, man. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. So for those of y'all that see Apollo walking through the streets of Charlotte, he is not on house arrest and broken out. That is to protect him with his ankle.
Hold on. You will never see me walking through the streets.
He broke out. He's out. You got to watch out for
this.
If
you see me walking through the streets of Charlotte, something happened, bro. So stop and pick me up, please.
I love it. Shout out to my guy, Lee Escobedo, my dude State, my guy, Jay Ellis in the building. Appreciate you guys so much for being here. Let's jump right into it. All right. So for those who don't know, we have an unexpected guest today. Expected for us as of yesterday. Actually for me, I sent out the invite to Apollo 3 days ago, and then I found out backstage that the invitation was accepted. So I'm looking forward to this. Some of you might not know, but I am not Apollo's main source of content. I am kind of Apollo's content game side chick. He's got his own thing. He's got his own commitment, his own marriage to his crew at the Guard Up Knicks. So I'm the side piece, he like
Wow. Wow.
so I'm the content game side piece, and I'm okay with that because every time he's on the show, he brings it, and I love it. So one of the guys that I truly love from the show, I support all those dudes. But someone that I've connected with goes by the name of The Regular Joe. And we have an affinity for both NBA, Knicks, and craft whiskey. And so I just love this dude. Like, really, really great dude, great takes. And I figured it'd be a little bit cool just to throw somebody in the mix from the start of the show that doesn't always have to agree with me and Apollo. Me and Apollo see the game of ball pretty similar. So every once in a while, when you get somebody that maybe sees it a little bit differently, it's cool to bounce those ideas. So I wanted to bring up the Regular Joe, introduce him to you guys, and also give you guys a little bit of a glimpse into what the team at Guard Up Knicks looks like. Because if you're not supporting Guard Up Knicks, you need to do me a favor. You need to stop. You need to head on over to their channel. You need to subscribe and you need to watch, because it's through Guard Up Knicks that I met Apollo and wanted him to be part of the Knicks Nightcap because I loved what they were doing over there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guy, Mr. The Regular Joe.
I know that guy. He looks familiar.
What up? What up? What up?
What's going on, Joe?
I don't even know if I'm on the screen yet. My all right, there you go. My box was black.
Oh, none. You good
Hey,
over here. That's what I was wondering. I was like, I thought you were froze again because you weren't moving. But then I
Nah,
saw like your hat start to move, and I was like, all right, this is a little trippy. So he's either like not knowing that he's on camera, or there's some Stranger Things type thing going on right now, and I'm freaked out. So I'm glad it's the second, not the second. So
Stranger Things is tomorrow night, Phil. Tomorrow night.
yes, sir. Also on Fortnite. My son loves Fortnite, and so they're about to unleash a new version of Fortnite on Stranger Things. So Stranger Things is all over the place. So shout out to them. So before we get into it, guys, I'm going to do this now, but I'm also going to do this later. Apollo and I have been truly, truly blessed this season to have different brands, from whiskey brands to clothing brands, really believe in the show and get behind what we're doing. So anytime that we get something, I want to showcase and highlight the people that have done it, because honestly, it's been a serious blessing that anybody even cares what we're doing. So shout out to those that have supported. This is one right here. I highlighted a sweatshirt that I wore the other week from Gusto NYC. This is their New York Forever Knicks tribute hat. So shout out to them for this. Also, they have some stuff coming to Apollo and I, but there is a brand that I really, really like by the name of Mathematic Athletics. And they are a clothing brand that creates these dope shirts, but they're also creating these really, really fresh jerseys that allow you to showcase what part of a city you're from. So it's got the name of the city that you choose on the front, the number, everything like that. This right here that I'm wearing is their Neighborhood of Champions shirt. Kind of hard to show you guys exactly what it is, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this brand is really, really, really dope. So this is the back of the shirt. It's got the jerseys, old school Nick jerseys, but it's got each city that you're from, whether you're from Flatbush or Bushwick, or Astoria or Bronx or Bed-Stuy, like whatever. You can choose to highlight where you're from and what your pride is. So I'm wearing this one right here, which is this yellow joint right here. I mean, this white joint right here. And I absolutely love it. And these are the jerseys that I was talking about. They just finished their New York City photo shoot, and they're going to be getting these over to us soon. But based on the city that you want to, part of the city you want to represent, Bed-Stuy, all right, Harlem, they got that right there. They also got the shorts. So I love this brand, Mathematic Athletics. So if you guys can, I'm putting the link to their site in the chat right now. Follow them. I also am posting the link. They created an affiliate link for us so that they can be able to take care of all of those that come through the Knicks Nightcap. And they want to make sure that you guys are taken care of and given priority. Matter of fact, I just got a text from the owner, PETA, that they are actually launching these shirts for the first time today at 8 p.m. when the show went live. So you guys will be the first ones to be able to pick up the shirts and order the jerseys and everything like that. So I just put the link in there right now. So shout out to PETA and the crew. And I will say this, okay? If you go to their Instagram and their website, do not be alarmed. You're going to see a bunch of Boston Celtics stuff, okay? And that's because that's where homie lives. And so that was his community, and he pushed it out doing all the Boston Celtics cities and everything like that. It's hideous, like a whole bunch of green and white nasty jerseys all over their Instagram. It's disgusting. All right. But it's like that Drake song, started from the bottom. Now we're here. So they had to start at the bottom, which is Boston. Now they're rising. They're going to where they need to go. They need to go to the top of the NBA, to the Mecca. So that's why they're going straight to New York. They will be releasing sometime soon a rap cipher with different hip hop MCs from New York City, from the Knicks community. And so I myself, Sky Zoo, and Apollo will be part of that. So stay tuned, look forward to that, and support Mathematic Athletics, because honestly, they're just dope people, and I appreciate them. Speaking of, all right, I didn't know he was going to be in the building, but he said I had to take care of the crib first. Yo, you got to do what you got to do. You know, when you say take care of the crib, I instantly think dirty diapers. So yes, you got to take care of the dirty diaper first and then get out and actually execute in life. So I appreciate you being in the chat right now, my brother. So, all right, let's talk Knicks. All right. I'm gonna start with you, Joe. I wanna start seeing your thoughts. All right. So we haven't talked since last week, and we ended up losing to the Magic. All right. Was a rough outing. I went out and I actually did some video for the homie CP, and we did like a pregame, hangout for about 3.5 hours. And it was great to see Nick's Twitter, Nick's Instagram kind of show up and hang out. And so I just loved it. I loved hanging out with everybody. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see a recap video I did with them. But that was the best part of the day, because then we went and took a mighty L to the Orlando Magic. And honestly, it exposed some things in us, so we lost 121 to 133. What was your thoughts on that game, Joe? Like, how did you feel watching that and then the end result?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't surprised. Something about, it's not something about, I know what it is about that team. I mean, they're a nasty team. Like, they're big, they're physical. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me. I didn't throw that out there. But yeah, just a big, nasty, physical team, man. They kicked our ass. They kicked our ass, man. And I have a lot of concerns about this team. I had some concerns about this team before playing Orlando, even the first time. But now seeing us against them twice, I mean, there aren't that many teams that could really like get into our shorts the way they can. It's probably like 4 other teams, maybe. But I mean, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, we're probably gonna have to go through a team like them or Detroit to get to where we want to go to. And I mean, right now I don't see it.
Yeah.
So talk me off the ledge, man.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of questions, but we'll get into that.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I can talk you off the ledge. But I'm first going to throw it to Apollo to get his thoughts before I break down some of mine. Apollo, what was your thoughts?
It was, I mean, from the start, it was bad luck with Landry going out. So hopefully he's good, or whatever version of good looks like for him. It's always frustrating to watch us play the Magic, because it's kind of like we just forget how to play our game, you know what I mean? Or they're just that good defensively. You got to give them some kind of credit. They know what we're going to do. Anthony Black, after the first game, said, we know that they give up the most threes in the NBA. So that's something that they're hunting, and they're not even a 3-point shooting team. You know what I mean? So it's a problem when, you know, even last night at a certain point, Brooklyn got up so many threes, in which they do, but a lot of them were open. You know what I mean? And they just missed a lot of them. Thank God. But you know, it's concerning a lot of the times when I'm watching these guys do the same kind of things, and uh, it just was a disappointing watch. Like I really didn't like watching that. It was just a nasty game.
Yeah. And you know, one thing that's really frustrating, and I want to give a real quick shout out to my guy, Prophet NYK. I love this dude. All right. So this dude was someone that I really, really connected with in the community. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't find him anywhere. Couldn't find him on Twitter. Couldn't find him to like connect with him. We used to connect every time I was in Orlando. And all of a sudden, in the corner of my eye, I see homeboy walk in to the watch, you know, the pre-watch party, whatever, get together this past weekend, and I was so pumped to see him there. So I'm glad to see him in the chat, glad to reconnect with him. Great people. So shout out to Prophet. But to your guys' point, Orlando Magic is one of those teams that's really, really frustrating for me to play, because it does what a lot of people don't want it to do. It exposes a weakness that we've talked about for quite some time in our roster construction, and that is how small of a team we really are. Like, you don't really see it when you play some teams, but when you go out there and you play against the OKCs, or, you know, the Spurs, or someone like the Magic, you see how small we really are. And that's frustrating. That's so hard to watch, because you see that in someone asked me, like, do you really think they could take us in a 7-game series? And I'm like, after the last 2 games I've watched right now, the way that we are playing, yes, I could. Like, I really, really could, because some of the things that they struggled with last year was their 3-point shooting. Well, they solved that in Bane, and you solve that confidence as well. And the Jalen Suggs of this year is not the Jalen Suggs of years past. This guy is confident enough to take any defender to the basket, and he's going to work hard, and he plays really, really great defense. So the Orlando Magic, to me, in that game, showed a lot of things that we need to fix as a team. Like, we did not stop any of them. Like, Franz could score at will against us. And that's an issue. That's a real big issue. And they didn't even have Paolo, you know, in that game. And so with that kind of, you know, power that I'm seeing from them, it is a bit concerning, because I want to make sure that when it comes playoff time, we're not looking the way that we did the other day. And to your point, that Landry Shaman injury also brings concerns, you know, because he's one of the few guards that can help us score when we need it off the bench, but he's also one of those guards that can help us defensively, you know, and now we don't have that. And so that was super concerning, because I also want to know, what are we doing? You know, if it's a longer injury than we think, how do we handle that? Like, his contract isn't guaranteed till, I think it's like January 7th or 10th that it fully locks in. Like, so how are we going to handle that as a team? And so I'm hoping he comes back soon and can actually start getting back into the rotation, because I feel like he's been earning it. You know, he's been earning his minutes, he's been earning his spots, but it did show some concerns. And so let's talk about my first concern. My first concern, which I said when we saw Karl Anthony Towns destroy Alex Sarr, was he is very, very physical against some of the not, you know, star-studded guys that are bigs in the league. But when it comes to the actual, like, bigs that can hold their own, I'm not so sure that we're going to always see that assertiveness from Cat. And so when he was down there with some of these guys, I wasn't seeing that same dominance that I've seen in other games. So what do you guys think when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns' dominance? Why is it on for some games and not for others? And I want to make sure that, like, we talk about that in detail, to talk about that this isn't a Cat can't do it, because we've seen that he can, but what is limiting it from being an every night kind of situation. And so before we go into it, I want to thank everybody in the chat. We got over 115 rocking with us right now. Numbers continue to go up. If you guys can, please hit the retweet button on Instagram, retweet on Twitter, repost it on Instagram, and shout out to my guy, the Loopy Blogger. If you don't know who the Loopy Blogger is, check him out. Like, this dude is hilarious. We connected at the event, and I'm gonna be at his event coming up very, very soon. And just one of those guys that I feel like is like an old friend from high school that I just reconnected with, and I actually just met him the other night. So shout out to my guy Loopy. We've been talking all day about, you know, how we're gonna build together. Shout out to my brother downstairs watching. He's gonna pop up a little bit later. I'm gonna bring him up after the whiskey guest, that's for sure. And then Knicks Nation in the building right here. Mr. Fritz, the moderator of all moderators, said he's in danger of being cut if he's going to get surgery. That's facts. That's about Landry Shamet. So I'll throw it to you first, Apollo. Why do you think that we're seeing, you know, nights where we're like, look at how dominant Cat is, and the nights where we're like, yo, why is he settling for forced three-pointers instead of taking it to the basket?
I don't know. Cat kind of reminds me of like that bully that's really choosy about who he bullies. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, and it's no disrespect to his talent. That's the problem that we have with him, is that we expect a lot of you because of your talent. You know what I mean? He's capable of doing what he did last night all the time, but it's just like certain teams, he just chooses not to do it. I don't know if it's physicality that he doesn't like. It has to be something with that, because Brooklyn wasn't as physical wasn't as physical with him last night. You know what I mean? That's probably why you started to see that kind of cat, even with the Wizards. That's why when I see these games, I don't really get excited, unfortunately. You know what I mean? From Cat for Cat. Like, you know, I'm like, let me see you do it against the teams that we struggle with. You know what I mean? And that'll get my, you know, that'll make me respect it a little bit more. So I don't know. It's just, I don't like the fact that he it's like on and off. Like, I don't know if it's a mental thing, or if he's always in his head about something. But you know, this is really, really short window that we got, bro.
Yeah.
And we don't have the time to be playing around. So I don't know. I mean, that's just personally, I it's very frustrating. You ask my friends what I feel about Cat, they probably feel like I don't like him at all. So because it's just, as good as he is, he should be doing a lot more, and it's just very, very frustrating. But you know, we'll see how it's still early, you know, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, about the window and what this means with the roster constructed the way that it is. If there are concerns with the roster construction and everything like that. But before we go into that, Joe, what are your thoughts? Like, what is keeping Cat from being that dominant player? And we talked about this early in the season, okay, with our guy Phil from Brother Justice. Dominant does not mean you have to be aggressive and bully the whole time. Like, it just means that you can use your dominance, but also still be a finesse player. Like, you can still be the big man that is the best shooting big in the league, but still assert your dominance at times and switch it up. So why do you think that he's not asserting that dominance in game to game, like in every single game instead of just some of them?
First of all, I just want to say that, does anybody have Garrison Matthews' number? Because this Landry Shamet situation scares me. But we'll see what happens. They're calling it a sprain. So we'll see. As far as Cat goes, I don't know, man. Like, I noticed that he's very physical. He plays a physical game of basketball, right? Where he doesn't try to really drive around people. Like, he's oftentimes driving through people. The problem is, when he's playing against some of these bigger, stronger centers, he can't drive through them. So once he can't drive through you, right, like he did Nick Claxton last night and Noah Clowney, and like we seen him do Alex Sarr, like, what is his counter to that, right? So when we eventually play a team like Detroit, like, he's not driving through Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. So what's the alternative to driving through a guy's chest And I don't know. I mean, we've seen the post ups so far this year. To me, the post ups haven't really bear much fruit. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, you know what, man? I can't help but feel like maybe we might have made one trade too many.
That's a
Like,
big
like, like,
statement.
like, did we? Because I feel like the Knicks possibly like lose the essence of who they were. Like, we never got a chance to see that January 2023 version. Was it 2023? 2024 version of the Knicks again. Like 2023. Like, dude got traded. Um, Julius, and he got hurt. Then he got traded. He never played in the Knicks game again.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I would have liked to have seen them come back with that team that looked like they were poised to do something special that year. Had it not been for Jaime Jaquez, and we never got a chance to see it. So I mean, I wonder if maybe we jumped the gun a little bit. I understand that we had a situation with the centers, and we didn't really have a center after losing Isaiah Hartenstein. But part of me wonders if we should have just rocked with Jericho Sims until we figure something out. But I mean, the past is the
Yeah.
past. I guess the trade is made. Can't undo it. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, man. Like one thing I will say, Phil. One thing I'll say, Phil, is that I feel like this team right now, the reason why teams like Orlando are able to do the things that they do to us is I feel like we lack a little bit of creation. And I mean, Julius, I mean, for all his faults, he was a creator. He was the engine of the offense. To
Yeah.
kind of take some of that pressure off of Jalen Brunson. And Cat is probably the more talented player, but he's not really a creator. He's not a playmaker like Julius is. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We got what we got, so we got to rock with it.
I'm gonna step in there and be like, nah. Like, thing is I understand, where some people are like Julius, but at the end of the day, that ship had sailed. That ship had sailed for me, because yes, he was an engine.
It looked like it said the last time we seen it, Phil.
But here's the thing: is yes, he was an engine, but he was an engine to a flawed system. Like, he was an engine to a offense that wasn't really going to like get us to that next level. Like, it just wasn't. And at the end of the day, he was up for a contract, and the Knicks weren't willing and ready to lock in. Like, and that says a lot when you've been there that many years and there's still hesitation on giving you that next contract. There's a reason that there's hesitation. There's a reason for it. And when you look at it, even he talking about how the pressure of New York was too much for him. And that's why he started doing this and doing that. Like, you have to believe that the front office saw those things as well. All those things were kind of red flags. So I think for me personally, I have to go, I don't think the trade was a bad move. It wasn't. Like, I feel like Randall was up for a payday. Wasn't going to happen. Even though he was a really good player, he wasn't the future for the Knicks. But two things can be true. And one can be that it was a smart trade at the time. But with the new changes, is it going to work? Like, it can be both of those. It could be that it was a good trade, but is it going to work? And if you look, the game the other day where we actually ran the offense through Cat, and Mike Brown gave Rick Brunson credit for that decision, Cat ran the offense really, really well. Like, he did a great job making sure that we walked away with that W. So I think it's a both and. Randall was good, helped us get to where we were going to be, but he wasn't the next step. Like, he wasn't going to get us to that next step. And if you look at a lot of the teams around us, we thought we were going to be a shoo-in, for ECF. And right now we're in sixth, so things are not exactly planning out at the start of the season the way that we expected it to. And I think that the chemistry and the way that things are running, with our current roster as part of that. And we're going to talk about that in a sec. But that's where I go. This is confusing for me.
Can I just ask you one thing?
Yeah.
So we talked about the way the front office felt about Julius, and I don't disagree with you. I think you're correct. How do you think they're feeling about Cat right now?
Oh, so I think the front office. The thing with Cat is I think that he is what they know that he is, and they brought him over here in hopes that something else will unlock. As opposed to when they brought in Julius, they brought in Julius to be that number one piece. Then Jalen became that number one piece. And so I think things continued to change. I think that they understood what Cat has been for most of his career and hope to unlock something else in it. So I think 15 games is still a little bit early to decide if they believe it's a good thing or not. But we're going to talk about that later because there are some things that Ian Begley has posted about that do make you wonder how the front office is feeling about things. And we're going to talk about that. But the back and forth that we were talking about with Cat is the thing that makes me go, makes me scratch my head. Because me and Apollo, every single week, except for one, we've had different people that we've thought had the standout performance of the game. But both of us agreed last night was Cat. Like, Cat's numbers last night were impressive. You know, Cat went for 37 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 70% field goal, and 75% from 3. And that is, great numbers, especially because he's been struggling like crazy from the 3-point line. Like, he has been struggling big time. So, yes, you're Karl Anthony Towns. You're the New York Knicks. You should be dominating teams like the Nets, but it still makes you go one game to the next. You have to see that it's a little bit of a different Cat each and every time. And so what was your guys' thoughts on the game last night? I'll go with you first, Joe.
Man, I thought the Knicks played an all right game. I mean, the Nets are not a real team right now. I mean, if we're being honest. So, I mean, I kind of just take it with a grain of salt. And, we got Charlotte next. To me, Charlotte's I don't know if they're a real team, but they're definitely a more talented team than the Nets. So, I mean, we'll see how they fare there. I don't know. It's the Nets, man. I don't really have too many thoughts there. Like, the Knicks is, to me, it's just business, right? Like, this is a team that we should beat, and we did beat them. I mean, yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts on that game. We've seen them play Miami. Question marks pop up against those teams. So I don't know. I want to see us play the team.
Yeah. He was hanging on by a thread. I can't hear you, Phil. Huh? No, I can't hear you at all.
I'm having some mic issues, so give me your thoughts as I try to fix that.
Oh, okay. Same thing. It's the Nets, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You put the post out last night, and you were like, we better not lose to the Nets. And seriously though, bro. Like, seriously, and shout out to everybody that was part of that thread. I was, I'm terrible about interacting on on Twitter, but I'm always there watching and I'm laughing in the background. But it's really hard to get excited about those kind of games. Like, you guys handled business the way you should. The first quarter didn't look the way I wanted it to look versus the Brooklyn Nets. We struggled way too much in that first quarter. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's frustrating to see that because sometimes we come out hot, but when you going against the Nets and then you start off slow and then nobody could get it going, and that's when I started to think, I'm like, man, we do need some more shot creation. We need like one more guy who just doesn't care about, because there's at times where I love how much we're passing the ball, which is something we should adapt and continue to adapt a little bit more.
Yeah.
But somebody else besides for Jalen gotta have something, some kind of pop, because sometimes it's really frustrating to see everybody like keep swinging the ball and then like let's just get it back to Jalen because we don't really know what we're gonna do. Because even though we're passing the ball more, we still resort back to swinging the ball to Jalen because we haven't figured something out. So I'm happy we won the game. I don't really want to spoil that, but have the same energy for everybody. This is how we should play. We should have went in there and did what we did last night. So let's continue that kind of energy for as many teams as we can going forward.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. It's one of those things where it's like you want to celebrate, but then you also want to go, but why is this worth celebrating? Like, this is what it should be. This is how we should have won this game. And I think the reason we celebrate is because we've lost to teams that we truly know we should have beaten before, like already this season. Like, we've lost to teams that makes you scratch your head and go, how did we lose to this team? So that's been super, super frustrating. But we're gonna get ready to talk about a few of those other things. I wish my son was here, because he contacted me with my wife, and if he comes back, I'm gonna have him up. But he had to take. Then he was like, "I think I need to share this on the show," but they're not home yet, and it was about the Knicks and how we should have never been that close to the Nets. And so, when you got my 7-year-old popping off at the mouth about how sad we looked against the Nets, it makes you go, okay, there has to be a reason that, my son can realize that. And that means that you guys at the front office also need to start witnessing and understanding that as well. And so I want to talk about real quick, when it comes to that game, my concern, even though we won, was the fact that it looks like we have moments of keeping this Mike Brown system where the ball is moving and we're looking good. And then there are such stagnant ISO focused, only one player, maybe two, touch the ball, and it was only to give it right back to that first player. Like, there's no actual construction of what they're doing. It's just a little bit frustrating. And so I read something the other day, and I want your guys' thoughts on it. And I heard Mike say this earlier, but I guess it's still a thing, that he actually has not implemented plays yet. Like, now we are 16 so games into the season, and he has not implemented plays. He has implemented the system, and now he's just letting them read and react still at this point. And so me and my guy Lee and Jay, we were kind of talking about this. Some of us had different views and different points. But my initial thought is, well, with an offense like our starting lineup, maybe that works. Read and react. Some of the veterans out there, they know when to get their bucket, all-stars, whatever. And if the read and react doesn't work, one of those guys can go ISO and we can get a bucket. But when it comes to our bench, when you have guys that are struggling and guys that really don't have an identity yet, what do you guys think about this not having a system? Like, me personally, I think there should be at least 2 plays. Like, we're learning the system, but here's 2 guaranteed plays that we can count on in this system when our back's up against the wall and we're not able to score. So what are your thoughts, Apollo, on this whole, let it just read and react for right now, and then we'll implement plays later? Like, how long can we ride that out for?
I understand the mindset of it. It's a good idea. It's just it's crappy to see. You know what I mean? Because it's not really leading to wins all the time. And when it doesn't lead to wins, it just highlights our weaknesses like even more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that it's a good idea, especially if you're someone who expects to have some time as the Knicks coach. You know what I'm saying? And you're not just a plug-in kind of coach. You kind of do want to implement a system that everybody understands, and it's kind of when everything else breaks down, if their play doesn't work, you still have something to go to. I
Yeah.
get that. I think it's a good idea. It's just like I said, it's just it's just crappy to see.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
just
it's painful to watch. That's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So our guest is having an issue. Taylor, if you hear me, maybe log out and log back in, and see if it works any better. He's having a problem. He can only hear me on the stream, which would get super, super weird during conversation time. So try to log out real quick, Taylor, and then log back in and see if there's any better, and then we'll bring you back up. All right, Joe, what's your thoughts on this? Still no plays this far into the system. Into the season.
So I'm wondering if is he like this is one of those situations where he doesn't want to show his hand too early. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why you wouldn't have more plays implemented. But then again, I'm not a BA coach either. Like these guys all have a method to their madness. There's a reason why they do things the way that they do things. And sometimes you just gotta trust, what these guys are doing. And he's an experienced coach, right? Like he's been here before. So this is not a guy who hasn't been around the block. The Knicks hired him because he was experienced. So, I mean, if he doesn't have all the plays implemented, or if he has very few plays implemented, I'm rocking with it until I'm not.
I can add though that if we already heard that certain guys I think at some point we heard Cat really wasn't adjusting to the system well. At this point, I feel like if we were just adding plays on top of you not understanding it, it just wouldn't really work out, and I think that would cause more of an issue than anything. So
that's
seems like
a fair point. You don't want it to become an analysis by paralysis.
Right, exactly. So
and I get that. My only concern though is if they were continuing and being faithful to the read and react and system of the ball movement, let it go, because when it works and we actually do it, it looks beautiful. But the fact that we keep resulting back to it, and going back to foolish ways, that would be a time where if there was 2 plays, Mike Brown could see that they're resulting back into that, and going, hey, run the whatever. And then it gets them moving again and can maybe trigger their mind to go back to moving the ball and keeping it going back into the way that the system's supposed to be. Because when you see one person revert and start going ISO heavy again, then that next player does the same thing and they all start following suit. So to me, having the 1 or 2 plays that you can call out can break that repetitive mindset that we tend to go back into and break that ISO focus, stale, stagnant 4-shot system that we're accustomed to from the past. So that's just my thought there.
You know why I think that happens though, man? I feel like that happens because we don't have enough guys that are natural creators. So I feel like sometimes if Jalen Brunson isn't the guy that's creating the advantage, then it's who else, right? And if he's got a really good defender on him, or if they're not sending, a trap off these pick and rolls, then no advantages are being created. And it's harder to just swing the ball around if you don't get the defense in rotation. And I feel like the Knicks struggle sometimes. When they struggle, it's because they don't get defenses in rotation. Not to mention, they had teams in the blender earlier in the season, but now we're seeing that they're not playing at the same pace that they were playing at to start the season. And that was my biggest question and people kind of was like, oh, well, pace is not about how fast the players are. I'm like, no, I get that. But it's also your point guard is Jalen Brunson, right? can you get Jalen Brunson to commit to being, I don't know, something that resembles Steve Nash? Not in the playmaking department, right? Because Steve Nash was a ridiculous playmaker.
Yeah.
But just a guy that the ball comes off the hoop and he's running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, he likes to walk the ball up sometimes. And I feel like if the Knicks really want to commit to playing up tempo, like they can't just look to run off of defensive stops and misses.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you're taking it out the net, like you got to be willing to force it down the team's throat. And I don't know if we have the point guard that has that mentality.
Yeah.
Or even enough players that have that mentality.
So here's where I agree with you. I don't know if we have the point guard that has that mentality. But if you look, when we actually don't make it to where Jalen Brunson has to constantly be the one with the ball in his hand, we see results. Like if you look at some of that Nets game yesterday, there were opportunities that Mikhail was creating for other people because Mikhail has a knack for being able to facilitate. Like he did it in Brooklyn, like we have to utilize that a little more. When we went through Karl Anthony Towns, there were so many amazing opportunities. Even if you watch last night, when Cat actually goes to a facilitator mindset instead of just a scoring mindset, he draws defenses and always catches the open person at the 3-point line. And so to me, that's the thing that we need to do. Josh and Mikhail are backup PGs. That's what they do. Like Josh may not be the greatest shooter, the greatest scorer, whatever, but Josh can facilitate when we need him to. Mikhail can facilitate when we need him to. Cat can. I just don't think that when we go into the ISO mindset, anyone's thinking facilitating. They're going back into old ways, and then it is kind of a domino effect from one player down to the next, and that's where our offense gets stagnant. I'm not saying that ISO is a bad thing. I'm just saying that when we go away from what we're currently supposed to be doing, that doesn't get us closer to learning about plays. That just keeps us going backwards and further. Like implement the things that need to be implemented so we can start learning. But we're going to take a break real quick. And I'm going to introduce our guest, and we're going to have a little bit of whiskey while we talk Knicks. I'm excited about this one. All right. So there's a brand that I really, really like by the name of Redline. I don't know why that's going all over our faces. I don't want that to happen. Yo, chill with that. Anyway, so Redline is a whiskey brand that I really, really enjoyed. And it was kind of hard for me to find like information on like who runs this brand. And so I was just like, man, I love the juice that I've been enjoying from them. I want to check it out more. And a friend of mine that is a whiskey content creator, he's actually a Bulls fan and is going to join us later in the season on that. He connected me with the owner, Taylor. And I was pretty pumped because everything I've ever had from this brand is incredible. So tonight is going to be a little bit of a whiskey flight night where we're going to try some of the different samples. I really wish that I had some that, if I would have known Joe was going to be on the episode because he would have loved them. But we have 4 different variations that we're going to try today. And throughout the episode, this one right here, this is their double oaked, which looks incredible. And this is one that is 114 proof. That's the actual one I've only opened beforehand because I had to break in and try them out. The other ones I opened but haven't sipped yet. This one right here is their new aged 11 years American whiskey, which I'm wicked excited about. The last age statement one I had from them was their 10-year high rye, and it was instantaneously one of my favorite bottles I tried last year. This one's 124 proof. Then this one, I love their experimental series. The honey one is one that I had last year, and it was absolutely incredible. One of my favorite honey finishes I've ever had. And this is bourbon finished with pecan wood, which that sounds incredible. Who does not like pecan? and bourbon, and this is 109 proof. And then this one's like a little bit older from theirs. But I convinced Taylor. I kind of bent his arm behind his back and was like, "Nope, need this one." If you know me, creamsicles were like my favorite snack as a kid. And if someone's got like creamsicles or creamsicle ice cream or push pops, I'm always going to go for that first. So this one right here, their experimental cask finish in orange curacao casks is, I read the tasting notes about a year ago that said it was creamsicle. And I was like, all right, Taylor, you need to send me that. No excuses. And so he's like, it's an old one, but you sound like you really want it. So I'll send it to you because you're annoying and nagging me. So I'm going to switch my hat real quick because I'll do it after I introduce him. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guy, Taylor, and then I'm going to switch my hat. Whoop. What up, Taylor?
Hey guys, can you hear me good?
What's going on, Taylor, man? Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome.
Can you hear us now?
I can now. Yeah, I had to relog in, but yeah, it's good.
Good. I don't know where Phil went. There he is.
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to find.
You getting that orange hat?
I have a hat that I'm trying to switch into.
All right, now I hear him.
Check. You there? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you.
All right, bet. So I was
Here
going
we
to
go.
change my hat because I have a really dope hat that is a red line orange hat, and I'm gonna find that. Yeah, that one right there. What the crap?
Too slow, man. Too slow.
I didn't know Apollo got it too. I'm trying to wear mine, but dang, just ruined my swag. Dang, man, come on, guys. All right. So I'll eventually wear mine. But Taylor, real quick, I want to talk a little bit about the brand. When did you guys like get started? Where are you based out of? I just want to give people a little bit of a rundown before we like crack into the first pour.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually started in 2021 in November. We released 4 barrels online, which is actually that orange carousel that you're gonna try tonight. So that was one of our first releases we ever did. I think you guys got OC2, which is the second barrel, but that was all part of the online release. So we started November online, and then we just did 4 barrels for the Christmas season. And then we started, I think it was February of 22, we went into our first distribution for Kentucky and Tennessee. So then we have now we're now in about, I think, 17 states since then. So it's been a long, fast, feels like it's been long, but it's been quite fast expansion there. So
That's awesome. And you are in New York, which, makes me excited for people that are watching that are fans. Shout out to my guy, Nostalgic Nick, in the building. But for those that are watching that do not have, access because you're not in New York, I'm actually going to post a link on the side to a website called Barrel Station that has some of these variations of the releases and some others for you guys to check out. But you're in California now, so it's early for you out there. But like when you started the brand, like, because craft distilleries seem to be on the up and up, so what's like one thing that was like surprising to you, but one thing that was also like a fork in the road kind of moment that you guys had to get past?
Yeah, so especially when I started in 21, I don't know how long you guys have been into bourbon, but that was kind of like right before the breakthrough of like finishes being more popular, other than your like port finish and your classic ones. That's when people really started getting out there. Bell Mead, which is in Nashville, started doing their honey bourbon.
Yep.
I think in 2020, and that was kind of pushing the envelope back then on finishing. Which seems like it's not that long ago, but now people are finishing in anything they can try to find. But back then, really, it wasn't that obvious. It wasn't that, other than some wine finishes, like finishing wasn't super heavy in the industry. So it was pretty cool to break in at that time, just because craft distillery started really getting going. Um, it became more of, there was more brands out, and also, some of the newer products started getting out, which kind of pushed the big boys to start really playing around with more things too. And by big boys, I mean your larger Sazerac and all those guys who come out with a bunch of cool stuff now. But it was, I guess, the hurdle part. Um, my family's been in the liquor industry for, like, my dad has been in the wine business since before I was born. So I kind of had a little bit more of an advantage on the back end side of bourbon, like distribution and things like that. But I would say probably, um, that was probably my biggest thing. I started out as a passion project because we own a few other businesses. So really, in the beginning, I just wanted to do bourbon my way. I had run a charity for a few years called the Bourbon Syndicate, where I did barrel picks. So I picked everybody else's barrels, and then finally, I was like, what if I don't have somebody telling me how long to finish it, or have their guidelines, and I can do it all myself. I can pick my own woods for toasting. I can pick my own char levels, and just do things the way I want to do them, leave them in for how long I want to do it for, instead of having a set guideline for somebody else's brand. Um, so it was more of a passion project for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
But learning the distribution side was definitely the hardest part. Learning how things actually work on the other side, um, how hard it is to get out into the market, into larger markets, how hard it is to actually get your name, other than just the bourbon guy community and girl community. Actually get out into all these different avenues of distribution into stores, and that was definitely a wake-up call for me in the beginning. Signed some contracts with some people that I shouldn't have, for distribution. So you live and you learn. But that was probably, the intricate part of distribution was probably the hardest hurdle that we had. The rest
Yeah.
of it's been pretty fun.
That's awesome. And for those that are watching that don't know what he means by finished whiskey, um, bourbon ages in and rye ages in certain barrels. And after that amount of time, you can take them out of those barrels and transfer them into another barrel to unlock different kind of flavors. So you'll see brands that are doing honey casks, some that are doing cognac, some of the Armagnac, some Madeira, just very, very different kind of finishes. And like you said, Belle Meade was one of the first to do that with their honey cask. It went completely viral in the whiskey community. And some people's mortgages could be paid with what you'll see some of those Belle Meads go for online. But
Yes.
before we do this, I want to talk to you guys real quick. We talked a little bit about my son Jonah, and he has been watching games with me, and has really adopted the love for the Knicks. But he was a little frustrated with the Knicks and Nets game last night. So he told my wife, a little bit of a breakdown on what he thought from the Knicks performance yesterday. So I'm going to have him talk real quick on the mic and share with you guys what he thought. What do you think, Jonah?
So the fact that the whole game was so close, it's kind of embarrassing. The fact that the first quarter they were higher, it's pretty embarrassing. So
Yeah. Do you think that the effort was low?
yes.
Yeah. Do you think that some of our guys really should have stepped up and kind of, put on for us a little more?
Yes.
All right. What player didn't disappoint you last night?
Mikal Bridges did good.
Yep. So he loved watching Mikal facilitate and help out, like we talked earlier. So teams like the Nets, we should beat them by a lot more, shouldn't we?
Yes.
All right. So what advice do you have for the Knicks moving forward?
I hope that we win next game.
Yeah. Play better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Knick?
Jalen Brunson.
All right. So Jalen, if you watch this, my son really likes you. So do better, perform better for him. You can give one of these. Got him. Love you, Papa.
That's awesome.
So, yep. So I love talking to that kid about basketball. My dad was on the phone with me and my brother earlier talking about how he just loves watching, how my son reacts to the Knicks with me now. And it's something that we really get to connect with. So, all right. So we're going to start with the first one. We're going to go straight for it. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to crack open this double oaked right here. All right.
Here we go.
Beauty. Absolute beauty. Like you guys have heard me say on the show before, I am huge fan of double oaked whiskey. And so anytime a good brand puts out a double oaked, I want it on my shelf. So we're going to crack this open. We're going to have little samples of all four. Joe, just kind of dream about it. Think about it in your mind. And we'll have Apollo send you some of these samples very, very soon. All right. All right. So let's grab a little sip of this.
Don't bet on it, Joe. I'm not sending you
All right.
I know. I'm sorry. I would have got you guys out another set of samples if we would have.
Well, we didn't know he was going to be on the episode till yesterday. Well, I offered Apollo a few days ago. I found out right before we went live that Joe was joining us, so it's all good. All right.
So
Good job,
double
Apollo.
oak.
Good job.
The double
We're going
oak
to talk
actually.
about that soon. We're going to talk about that AD trade rumor soon, Mr. Nostalgic. I know you have your thoughts. All right, so tell us a little bit about this double oaked before we talk more basketball and then crack into the next one.
Yeah. So double oak. Funny enough, like you said, you are a fan of double oak. I am not.
Okay.
I do like a good double oak, like Woodford. Obviously, you're talking like 90 proof. I mean, it's a great for what it is. Obviously, they're probably the most known double oak out there. I do love theirs, but some of the more craft brands, I don't enjoy the tannininess.
Okay.
Like more like chewing on a piece of bark. Sometimes when you get these up at the cast strength version, like this is at the 114 version. This is a batch, but we didn't add any water to this, so this is batch strength. Same thing as barrel proof. But so for this one, I went to Calvin Cooperage, which is in Louisville. They are a really good cooperage. They're very well known in the whiskey industry for having really quality barrels. They still use their waste, like their cut ends and things, to do their fire for the charring on the inside instead of doing gas or propane, which is huge when you're kind of nitpicky like I am.
Yeah.
So I actually went to them. I've worked with them. They do all of our toasted barrels. So I went to them and we got a custom barrel for this. And I told her basically I wanted something that wasn't going to taste like give off those huge tannins or that oaky kind of bark flavor where you're kind of chewing on a piece of wood. So this actually came out more you guys are drinking it, but has more of that like almost like a chocolatey flavor profile, more on the cognac mouthfeel. More viscosity. So it's pretty fun that it turned out like this, because I wanted to go in making sure we weren't going to have that too much wood flavor and more bring in some more sweetness. So we went with a toast and char combination to keep down that toastiness, or to keep down that wood flavor and kind of bring in more of that sweet from the toast. So
I love
it was pretty cool to do.
I love it because I do get those chocolate notes, but I also get like fruity notes. Sometimes things are so chocolatey that I'm like, this is like more of a dessert pour, like it's just too rich on the chocolate side for like an afternoon or late, evening relaxation, watching a game kind of pour. But this has that perfect balance. And I know what you're talking about, the ones that are so double oaked that like you don't really get the flavors. But some do it well, some don't.
No, some do.
Some do. But I do believe like, going with Calvin Cooperage, if you are in the whiskey game, that they are known for what they do, like the way that their barrels, get the fire and everything and their presentation of everything, like they're top notch, so it doesn't,
great job.
It shows when you are craft that you don't want to cut corners. Being craft means that you're trying to deliver something unique that is the best, and so what do you do to release the best? You work with the best. You always want to get those that, you could cut corners, save a little money, use a different, brand to age them in. But you guys chose one of the best out there. And this product is nothing short of incredible.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
What's the MSRP on this one? If you know off the top.
$89.99 is what these are supposed to retail at.
Perfect. Yeah. That's
Mhm.
definitely worth $89.99. So if you guys can, once again, check out that link that I posted. It's a site called Barrel Station, and it's funny because it's all in the family. So
Yeah.
you know, like it's not just him. He's got people that are working with Barrel Station as well. That's his cousin. So
Hmm.
support them as well at Barrel Station. Pick up a bottle. Is Clarkson unplayable? Man, our teams hunting him on defense. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Before we go into that, though, I do want to give a shout out to every single person that's in the chat, keeping it and holding it down. We got over 240 of you in the chat right now. If you guys can, hit that retweet button, repost it on Instagram, share with a whiskey fan, share with a Knicks fan, as we're talking both whiskey and Knicks. So shout out to @size9 for just joining us with that question. And I'm going to answer that real quick. I think teams are hunting him on defense, but I also think that he has performed a lot better than a lot of us expected him to on defense. Like he's had steals, he's had blocks. I don't think that he's the cone that some people expected him to be, and I think that when he's played with like on the when he's on the floor with other people that can't defend, then it looks worse than it really is. But when he's playing with other defenders, then he's not getting hunted because they know that they can. So if he's on the floor with Cat or with Jalen, then it's multiple people that, you know, are not the greatest defenders. And it makes each and every person's weakness that much stronger. You know, it just looks that much worse. So I don't necessarily think it's a Clarkson issue as it's opposed to some of the rotations that Clarkson has been a part of so far this season. But before we go into the next pour, we're going to talk a little bit because Nostalgic Nick brought up a point and he said, AD trade coming soon. And so when you guys talked about the window being short, I think it's a little crazy that we already saw, and it's not from just some bozo that has a Instagram account or a Twitter account, but Ian Begley had posted, this is a this is stating the obvious, but I'm sure the Knicks would at least check in with Dallas if and when Anthony Davis becomes available, Begley wrote. You may scoff at the idea, but the Knicks want to win a title. And if Dallas is offering Davis at a below market cost, I'm sure the Knicks will at least give the move some thought. But this, again, is stating the obvious. The Mavs will get calls from all different NBA teams. Then he also said on the mailbag today, in terms of Anthony Davis, I don't see it happening given the construction of the team. And I'm not sure with the finances that the Knicks have what it takes to match salary there in terms of where the apron with the apron situation. It's interesting though because Anthony Davis was with the Pelicans and they were figuring out their future, where they were going to go. Were they going to go to the was he going to go to the Lakers? Were they going to go somewhere else? And he was told that the Knicks were on Anthony Davis's radar as a place that he wanted to go. So it does start to spark that question of okay, what do the Knicks actually have to give up if they want a player like that? And when you start to look at salaries, the only thing that really adds up is Karl Anthony Towns. So, how much of a window does he really have? I know where I stand on it. Like, I'm not looking to bring on Mr. Street Clothes to the Knicks. Like, I'm not. I'm not so set on Karl Anthony Towns having to be a Knick. Like, I like Karl Anthony Towns, but my goal is chip, not certain player. But I don't think Anthony Davis is that with his injury history, with the fact that he's not the young, incredible defender that he once was. Like, we can't guarantee how many games he would actually be available for. And he doesn't have the offensive bag that Karl Anthony Towns has, which we need when it comes to roster construction and shooting the three and having, you know, the ability to dish out and everything like that. So, Apollo, what are your thoughts on these Anthony Davis rumors?
I'm good. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Anthony Davis, but this is number one. This is not anything before 2020 or 2020. You know, the bubble year. But like nostalgic said, was it nostalgic?
No, Loopy said I'm a pass.
Oh no, yeah, Loopy said I'm a pass. Yeah, I'm with you, Loopy, on that one. And then Nostalgic said, he's no size 9, size 9 at size
Oh, yeah.
9 said, he said that's a mistake. Could you imagine Mitch and Davis hurt at the same time?
Right.
But that's my problem is I can't guarantee that no matter how good now Anthony Davis talent is really, really good. The problem is, can we ever say that he's gonna be available when you need him? You know what I mean? I can't guarantee that at all. I'm not hating on his talent. I just look at it. I think his first game in Dallas, he got hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the dude has a hard life, bro. Like you know what I'm saying, and we don't need none of that juju over here. So he can keep that in Dallas. I'm cool.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Joe?
I mean, I think Anthony Davis is phenomenal, but I mean, I'm good. Hard pass. Man. Like, I mean, the guy can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even understand why the Knicks would entertain that at all. It doesn't make any sense. Even like you said, from a roster construction point, it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I mean, I I understand it, the thought, but actually doing it would be nuts. It would be nuts. Like, I would start to question a lot of things. Like, I already have my questions as right now, but I would start to question a lot of things if that's the route that the Knicks think that they should go, and if they think that that's what's best for the Knicks. I don't think Leon is that crazy, man.
No, I don't either. And if you look, the only one in the chat right now that believes that it'll happen is Nostalgic Nick. Everyone else has said no.
I don't believe it.
Everyone else doesn't want that to happen. Everyone is passing on it. Shout out to my guy Prezi in the building, whiskey enthusiast
I don't
himself.
think that's happening.
No, I don't think so either. If you look at one of the things that is kind of hard to watch right now is seeing a fast-paced offense when Mitch and Cat are on the court together. Like, things slow down drastically when those two are on the court together. And so you take out Cat and add someone like AD, who's probably got similar speed to Mitch. You're even slower, you know? And so shout out to my guy, Lee Escobedo. He said this. I'm going to share it on screen real quick because I always want to give credit where it's due. He said, screen share, and then we're going to go into the next pour. Let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah, he said, anyone advocating for the Knicks acquiring AD wasn't around for the Antonio McDyess trade. And I think that's so key. The Knicks bought into a star who was past his prime because of health. And they bought into him, and he was not able to produce what the Knicks needed in any way, shape, or form. And so for me, that
he barely played.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, health-wise, he couldn't be what we traded him for. And I feel like that's going to be
he got hurt in preseason. And that was it. Like, we barely seen him again.
Than Anthony Davis first
like
game
for the rest of his contract, like, we barely seen Antonio McDyess. And when we did finally see him again, he was absolutely washed.
Yep. All right. So Nostalgic Nick said it's going to happen. Circle back when it does. I will give you full on receipt credit. If Leon Rose makes one of the worst,
you're manifesting some.
Yeah, I'm pushing against that.
I'm out on Leon, yo. I'm out on Leon if he does something like that. I'm out, bro.
Facts. So, all right. So we're gonna dive into the next pour real quick before talking about the next Knicks point. This right here is the American whiskey, aged 11 years. I'm kind of pumped on this. 124 proof. It's funny because proof is now one of those things where you can drink something at a high proof and be like, oh, wow, that doesn't taste that high. And then there's some that you drink and you're like, ooh, why
Yeah.
does this 90 proof taste like 140? What did they do wrong? So I'm excited for it. Let's hear the little cork pop. I love that sound. Oh, that's beautiful. Good cork pop is always something to brag about.
There you go.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, so this is actually the first release. We released 2 barrels on Barrel Station. The barrel that you have that is 123 proof, and then we also released a super shorty that only ended up with, I think that had 123 bottles in the barrel.
Okay.
We only did online because these are so short that basically we have not been able to put them out into distribution because to keep the pricing down. Just huge on pricing. So
Yeah.
these are 149.99 retail. But Parker's Heritage just released one as well, the 11-year American whiskey from their Heritage collection, the Parker's
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
about the same time. But this is pretty fun. So I've had these for 4 or 5 years aging. I bought them, I think they're about 6.
Okay.
So about 5 years now. They're 83 corn, 13 rye, 4 malt barley. So they're
Okay.
high corn. And actually, they were aged in old Jack Daniels barrels. So
Nice.
being American whiskey and bourbon, technically these would still count as a bourbon. But the big difference is they were aged in used barrels. So um, that's the big difference here. But these are much lighter. And like you said, you're not going to, at 123, 124 proof, you're still going to get that burn, but you're not going to get like an unpleasant burn. Very smooth. And they're much lighter, crisp. I'm really moving into some of the American whiskeys in the older age statements, just to kind of get something different. Bourbon comes off very heavy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not wanting all that heaviness. So these are really good light pours. And especially they turn into candy for me at that 10, 11, 12-year statement. So that's kind of what I look for with my flavor palette.
That's delicious. One thing I like about American whiskey is, like you said, for a bourbon drinker or a rye drinker, bourbon and rye is what they're used to,
Mhm.
But a lot of times when I'm traveling, I'm having pours with people that might not necessarily have ever really given whiskey a shot, and being able to introduce them into whiskey like this is similar to how I felt about like non-peated scotch. It was like
Mhm.
more relaxed, more entry level. But what I love about this is with the age statement and like however you guys, what was this in Kentucky? Did it age in Kentucky?
Yeah, half of its
Okay.
life. Yeah. So this is
So
MGP
okay.
from Indiana, but we age everything. All of our actual bourbon has been aged the whole time. We have a new make contract, and we're up in Paducah. Sorry, I forgot in the beginning to tell you
Yeah.
that we're Western Kentucky, so we're about
Yep.
2 hours from the Bourbon Trail area. But we are right by the Kentucky Lake. So this warehouse, when we were talking the other day, actually on text, I was up there, is only about a football field away from Kentucky Lake.
Okay.
So high humidity um in the summertime and a lot of moisture in the air. So we don't get as much angel share.
Yeah.
These ones are coming out pretty low. But normally we also don't get that high proof level, but we also get much more of like a candied flavor profile on our bourbons and
Yeah.
our whiskeys
Yeah.
from being so close to that moisture and having such fluctuating weather because you're so close to a lake. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So that's what I was gonna say. Like it drinks smooth like a non-peated scotch, but it has those like candied flavors that are sweet, So it's like
mhm.
to me, it's like a mix of a scotch with like an apple cider, like
Yeah.
you get like the flavors that you would like in an apple cider without the weird taste of an apple cider.
Yeah.
So this is delicious. I love this.
Awesome,
And
man. I'm
so this
glad you
says
like that.
30, this is bottle 31 out of 123. So I feel mad special that only 122 other people are gonna rock this bottle. So if you're not one of
Yeah.
those people, sorry for you. But hang out with me and maybe I'll share it.
Yeah,
So
that's a brand new product too. So we just released that and the pecan that you're gonna try. Actually, the pecan hasn't hit market yet. So other than being online, we did that online release for them. They won't hit market until December. So
Okay.
you guys are getting like a first time. These ones also, other than online, they haven't hit any markets yet. So these are kind of brand new products from us this year.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We're gonna break into that con one next, but before we do, we got a little comment right here from Prezi. He said, "Can we actually focus on continuity and chemistry to go deep into the playoffs?" And I think that's key because I don't feel like we've really seen this team fully click yet. Like we don't. Like I feel like personality wise, they're clicking. You know, like people are connecting and stuff like that. But even the other day, you saw the frustration between Mikhail and Kat because Mikhail kept having to pick up Kat's lone defensive, opportunities. And then it makes Mikhail look bad because Mikhail's always the one running after that person, but he's running after them as an assistant, not as that's my guy. And so Kat's not picking up and he's losing a lot of the like defensive opportunities. And that's going to cause friction over time if it continues to be like that. So we definitely need to build on this team actually becoming a unit and actually, becoming a team that can work well together in hard situations. And so for me,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, man. Like before the season started, Mike Brown talked a lot about trust, right? And you have to have like basically like blind trust in your teammates. And part of that, a big portion of that is defensively. I mean, I don't see how if I'm Mikal, how I could be in these pick and roll situations with Karl Anthony Towns and trust him, especially when I'm constantly having to basically he's like
Coaching.
I don't know, he's like it's crazy, man. Like I just don't see how you can really have that belief and that trust if the guy is never where he's supposed to be. And you constantly have to like admonish him like he's a child. I mean, yeah, bro, it's hard to watch.
It is.
And also another thing is like the 3-point line, bro. The 3-point line. Like, how do you? I feel like the Knicks need to just start selling out on their closeouts and trusting, that the rotations are going to be there. Because at this point, like, you can't just keep getting lit up. You got to run guys off the line and trust that your rotations and your scrambles will be on point. Because watching this team just get lit up by teams that are not like 3-point shooting teams. Like even Orlando, I guess Orlando solved some of their problems with Bane, but Bane is one man,
Yeah.
And they're still not really a great 3-point shooting team.
France is 4 for 6 that game.
Yeah, like they're still not a great 3-point shooting team, and they let them kind of light them up from 3. You can't play Orlando and lose the 3-point line. You know what I mean? Like that's not where you should lose the game, especially when you consider that they're probably going to get to the line more than you because that's what they do. You can't let them get to the line and lose the 3-point line. You just can't do it.
It's crazy to me because it's like in today's modern NBA, I do not understand how the 3-point line seems to be a surprise for the New York Knicks.
Exactly.
Like how are you still surprised that people are making threes? So for Taylor, since you're not a basketball guy, like this would be like cask finishes being a surprise to a whiskey brand. Like I didn't know we were doing that. It's like, what do you mean? Like every single brand has been like going super hard in the paint for that. How do you not know that's a possibility? That's exactly what this team does when it comes to the 3-point line. It's like after Steph Curry's second season, it should no longer have been a surprise that the 3-point line is a thing in the NBA. And yet the Knicks continue to get befuddled by the fact that threes are shot. And what's frustrating is that teams are shooting them at such a high clip against the Knicks. Like I'm sick of listening to all these broadcasters talk about how they shoot less threes, but they're shooting high number that night against the Knicks. And this no-name person like Clowney or whatever that dude's name was from last night becoming a star against the New York Knicks. Like, why is it that the New York Knicks are struggling defensively? And I think the problem is you put two guys on the court like Jalen Brunson and Cat, and you might do well offensively, but you're going to struggle defensively. Like, you're just going to, because they're both really bad. Mikhail, at least Jalen's trying.
I agree with that, but there's also the other side that these guys pack the paint. That's something that they do. They try to make sure that they stop other teams from scoring in the paint, and that because of that, you're going to leave the 3-point line open a lot.
And that's crazy to me. Like, in an era where we all grew up,
I don't even think that they're that successful stopping teams in the paint, though.
No,
yeah, exactly.
Because if you look at Clowney, most of his points were in the paint. Like, so
Mitch has been terrible this year, like protecting the rim. I mean, look at the numbers. If you think that I'm wrong,
and
he was terrible last year protecting the rim. If we're being honest,
a weird concept to protect the paint, because if you look at the amount of shots that go up from the 3-point line in today's NBA, and the amount of players that are quicker to shoot a 3 than they are a midi, that should change your perspective. There are so many guys that have an open mid-range shot and they dribble it back out for a contested 3. They would rather shoot a contested 3 than an open midi or a layup. How many times do we see players that go up for the layup and they dish it out instead of taking it so that the team could try to shoot the 3? It's crazy to me, like, to focus solely on being a rim protector in an NBA that is so focused on shooting the 3-pointer. And so for me, Cat's got to fix that. What'd you say, Joe?
Oh, you waiting for me? Nah, I was thinking, like, do you think that at this point is it I'm starting to think maybe it's not a coach thing, though. Is this a personnel thing? Because we got a new coach. We thought that maybe it would be a little bit different in terms of protecting the 3. And it's still the same. Nothing's changed. So now I'm wondering if it's just even like the night to night, how you don't know what team's gonna show up. Like, if one of the things about this is why I also said maybe we made one trade too many. And bear with me. So in the past, right, the Tibbs teams, you knew what you were gonna get from every night, right? Like, bought it every night, and it was kind of the thing we fell in love with the team was that even if we lost, like, you didn't have any questions of whether or not they were going to break. Then they made the Mikal trade and they made the Cat trade. And last year, you didn't know what Knicks team was going to show up. Like, night in, night out, you just had no idea what you were going to get from this team. And so far this year, it's still very early. I just want to be clear. Like, the Knicks could go on a 13-game win streak next week. But I just wonder, like, this inconsistency that you see from this team night to night, if it's the guys on the team and not the coach, them not being able to guard the 3-point line, is it the guys on the team and not the coach? I can't help but wonder that, because it's something that inconsistencies are something that we've seen after the 2 trades that we made.
I don't know. I think hindsight's 20/20, and I think at times we lose the actual, like, history, and it's kind of like revisionist history, because if you look, yes, we knew what we were going to get a lot of times, offensively from Julius Randle, but he also put us in so many bad situations defensively. Like, we traded.
No, he did.
We
You're
traded,
absolutely right, Phil. He did.
And that was the problem, though, is,
but
like,
you knew
like
that
Cat, we've seen glimpses of Cat where he can defend, and he just doesn't do that. And we saw those glimpses with Julius Randle as well. And so, for me, I personally feel like we traded
for me, though, it's Julius thing,
for another.
To me, though, it's not necessarily a Julius versus Cat thing. It's just that, all right, so if you want to go back to after we made the OG trade, even before that, right? Like, even after we made the Derrick Rose trade, like, that we hear year. right? And even the year after that, well, the year after that was not good, but 2 years after that, like you knew every single night that that team was going to bring it. You knew that that We Here team was going to bring it every single night, and a lot of the times that was like a tip staple, right? That was a tip staple in Chicago, and it was a tip staple here in New York. I don't know what this team's going to do in terms of just effort. Forget about execution. Forget about Cat and Julius. Just what mentality is this team going to come out with from night to night? And I have no clue what it's going to be from night to night. And it's a
Yeah.
fundamental problem.
No, I understand. I think I had those same concerns though in the old roster. I remember being, on the podcast and being like, yo, this team is unstoppable. We just went 8 in a row. And then being like, what did we see these last 3 games? I honestly do not think that the Knicks have achieved an actual identity under the new regime. Like, I feel like we started to get some culture, but I don't think we've found an identity yet. And that's still our issue. Because when something starts to work that we think could be our identity, we don't stick to it. Like, we are not a consistent group. And that's the frustrating part. I'll throw it to Apollo real quick before we go into our next sample.
There's so many parts of it touching on. Like, what exactly is the main topic?
So he's comparing this the what we could rely on from teams past to now. Me personally, I feel like it was a question mark all the time. We love what we see, we hate what we see. It's been a battle of two halves for me.
I think so. I think when you say so, I think it's twofold. So when Joe says you make one trade too many, I don't think it's necessarily a Julius thing. I think it's more of an identity thing because we didn't just lose Julius. You know what I mean? We also lost Dante, and that was a huge part of our identity for that run that we were on in that playoff run. So I think that's another reason why we lost a lot of our identity because it wasn't just Julius. At sometimes Dante was huge for us on both ends of the floor. It's really easy to forget that aspect of it. As much as we love Dante, of course, we know we love Dante, but we don't remember all the time why we love Dante. And it was a lot of sometimes he did get us out of a rut because he just was hot when we weren't making the shot. So there wasn't some identity with especially point of attack and things like that that we missed with losing Julius and Dante. So like I said, Dante wasn't an extreme shot creator, but he at least wouldn't care about having to put up a shot in any given situation.
Yeah,
unlike a lot of our guys right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dante to me was the more crucial part of that trade. To be honest, like the comfortability that Jalen Brunson played alongside of Dante was refreshing, and same with Josh Hart. And I think that if they didn't let Dante go, I think things would look a little bit differently. Having the 4 Villanova boys on the same team, I think we would have seen a lot more fluidity there as well. And yeah, Knicks still lost. I agree. Knicks have been lost. Let's go into the next 4. We're going to break open this beautiful pecan right here, this pecan finish. And that is 109 proof straight bourbon whiskey finished with pecan wood. So give us a little bit of a breakdown on this one, Taylor.
Yeah. So Elements, first of all, Elements is is a line that we did for experimental woods. So that line is all about wood cast finishing. So we're using woods from all around the world. We've done Ambriana, we've done Mongolian, which is very unique. We've done obviously some of you or you might Phil have seen the Hive, which is the honey Ambriana. That one just kind of fit in there just because we already had the Ambriana on that. But normally we stick to just wood. And this one is pecan. So pecan. Depends on where you are in the United States, I guess. That's the biggest debate I think I've had lately. I'm from New York too, so originally. But yeah, so this one's really fun. So obviously, well, not obviously, I guess. Obviously, to me, pecan wood is not really usable for barrels. So
Yep.
basically, what we did was we have this company that made these shells. Um, it's like a metal square, and you can slide the slats in the side. So it's basically like a barrel that has it's a square and it has metal corners, and
Okay.
then slats go down, and it makes a wooden barrel
Nice.
minus the corners. So we're able to experiment with a lot more woods. We have a really cool apple wood coming out too, but this is really allowing us to use more wood. So this was a 6-year bourbon, 75 corn, 21 rye, 4 malt barley, that was then used about 12 months in that pecan contraption there, additional for aging. So it's about 7 years now. And it is just turned out really phenomenal for what I was looking for. Creamy. It has a really just like nutty richness to it, and it sticks more with that bourbon. We try not to do anything that's crazy to take away everything. We want you to know you're obviously drinking bourbon if you're buying bourbon.
Yep.
So we want more accents or additions rather than kind of changing the profile. So that's kind of what we stick to.
Man, this is so smooth. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, this is just so smooth. Like, and what I love is like with certain finishes, I feel like it takes away the classic bourbon like flavors that you like. You know, like it's so
Mhm.
cask forward that you're like, I taste the cognac, but I feel like I'm
Mhm.
drinking a cognac. You know, like I feel like this. You could have told me it was a cognac. You know, there's so much cognac flavor to it. This I love that you get the classic bourbon type of sip that you love, but you get that nice pecan flavor, you know, that's there. Like for me, this is perfect holiday whiskey. Like perfect
Yes. Yeah.
holiday whiskey. Sitting along a fire, hanging out, you know, this is incredible.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. We tried to release it. We were trying to get it out for Thanksgiving. We've got some online, but it is just the perfect time of year for it right now, going into December as well. Throughout the cold season, it'll be really well.
Yeah. I love that.
Really well
I love that.
perceived, I believe. So, also we do have that one online, and I went ahead and asked the guys. Yeah, my cousin couldn't make it, but they did put free shipping on Barrel Station for you guys. Anyone that uses Nix,
Nice. All
with an
right.
S. So,
All right. I'm going to
um,
put that in for you guys as well. Pick it up from this distributor so that you guys can get free shipping. Prezi, everybody else that is a whiskey head in here, make sure you pick up this pecan wood, and any of the others that we're talking about, because the great thing I love about this show is like I don't have to have somebody on that I don't want to have on. And if it's a brand that I'm like worried that one of you guys are going to try something and it be absolute trash, I don't have to have them on the show. So that makes me extremely happy. All right. So before we end with, you know, the next pour and let Taylor enjoy his night where he's like, why are they still talking about basketball? I just want to
oh,
hang out and drink.
I do love basketball. I do. I just haven't been into it in a couple of years.
Yeah. No.
Unfortunately, I used to like the Lakers back in
Oh
the
gosh.
day. And
Sorry to hear that.
I know. That
I know.
was back in 2011, 2010. So
Well, I'll give
we're
you a
talking.
pass. If it's pre-LeBron, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, definitely pre LeBron. I was a Kobe fan. Now I don't like the Lakers because that was like, how could you do that?
Yeah. Ruin a legacy.
But
I hear you.
ruined a legacy.
So, you know, one thing that I did want to read this comment to Joe. He said, you know, the Knicks still lost with that roster. The roommates still choked twice versus the Pacers. So, you know, I understand the trades and stuff
I
like that.
mean, did the roommates choke against the Pacers? I mean, last year they did,
Yeah.
but
Last year.
the year before that they were playing with nobody,
Yeah.
and they forced them to a game 7. So I mean, no OG, no Julius, no Mitch, and we still forced a game 7 with basically a ragtag group of a roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, if you call it
Yeah.
choking, then more power to you.
All right. So let's move on to the next
Last year they
topic.
choked, though.
All right.
Just to be clear, last year they choked.
Last year they choked. They choked bad. It was nasty. And if any of them are watching this show, you still owe me money because I went to 2 of those Indiana games and you got blown out like crazy. And I actually paid for 4 tickets for me, my wife, and my 2 children to watch the Knicks get utterly dismantled in those playoff games and have to walk to my car in total embarrassment. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Anyway, so moving on.
Never forget that.
Moving on, we're going to do what we love to do here called Nictionary. All right. Joe, you get to be part of this. All right. So I create these little montages, the little picture collages of things that help you decide what former Knick player this is. This one's a little easy, so hopefully you guys get it, but I'm going to put it on the screen and you let me know what player you think this is. And it's kind of funny because I went to the Dallas game and there was a bunch of fans there and I did Nictionary outside and they all could not guess any of them. So it made me have appreciation for the chat and for Apollo and our guests that have been able to actually figure things out. So here's this one. Let's see what we got. Chat, do me a favor. If you can figure this out, let me know what former Knick player this is right here.
Can I say it or no?
Give Joe a minute. I see
I'll
the
give
brain
Joe.
moving. It's good that Apollo's already caught it. Taylor's looking. Taylor's trying to figure it out. I'll give another 30 seconds on the Jeopardy clock.
This was the easiest one for me. I don't know why.
All right. I'm going to let Apollo go at the same time that I throw this up from Xavier because Xavier got it really, really quick. And 1, 2, 3. Apollo?
RJ Barrett.
Yep. We got the R in rated R. We got a J, Blue Jay right there. We got a bear. And then we got the clown from the movie.
Oh, my God.
R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Oh, my God.
That was a good one. That's
That's
ridiculous.
a little embarrassing there, Joe.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like once you know what it is, you always go, how did I not freaking get it? Like, because you're just like, it makes so much sense once you read it. But in the moment, your mind can pass one thing. It doesn't know what one thing is in the combination. So I always say, look for the thing that you understand and work from that, whether it's the beginning, front, middle, back, whatever. Take that and then run with it. So shout out to Apollo for getting it so quick. Xavier for getting it. Shout out to Prezi the boss who got Broadway Barrett. Jay Ellis also caught it. So shout out to those guys. All right, here we go. So the question that we need to talk about right now, guys, is one player that we have to figure out what's going on.
I thought there was going to be more. I was ready to go again.
one a week. But this right here, this is the question we got to talk about because a lot of these trades that supposedly the Knicks are interested in, it's going to take a little bit of our roster, and so this is a big question that seems to have the fan base split. Is what do we do when it comes time for a Mitchell Robinson extension? And so recently it came up that with the limited minutes, it's not just the medical staff or Mike Brown that have made these decisions, but apparently Mike Brown has said that Mitchell Robinson's agent is part of the group that's dictating his load management program, and it's all about maintaining his health. And so they are taking some instruction from his management on how much he can or cannot or will not play. So yes, it's good for playoff time, but what does that also mean for us in making decisions for long term? Like we've always said, we want Mitch there if he's available to play. But if it's now a load management thing throughout the season in order to preserve him, is that something you throw big money at come extension time? What are your thoughts, Apollo?
Man, it's tough because I don't think we really know right now how Mitch will look when this system is really up and running the way it should be. Or even by January, let's just say by January. We don't know what it's going to look like by then. I think there's a possibility for Mitch to redeem himself. I mean, he's still in a minutes restriction. It's really tough because we know how much we need Mitch. We know how important he is when it matters in the playoffs, especially because teams' offenses slow down in the playoffs. As much as it's frustrating to deal with Mitch, all season long in the playoffs. Teams really they play a bigger lineup. They slow the game down, and it's more of a a system setting instead of a just run and gun so much.
Yeah.
So it really works in Mitch's favor then. So it depends on what the market looks like. We still need to protect the rim. Cat can't protect the rim. Whoever we get for Mitch, if we were to, not extend him, who are we going to get to protect the basket? That's something of need. We, at some point is, and like Joe said earlier, his numbers aren't great. But imagine if he's not here at all. With what our numbers look like, and that's concerning for me. So
yeah. All right, Joe, what are your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, I want to start off by saying I love Mitch. I mean, I think the Knicks, as constructed, they cannot win a championship without him. But it has to be the best version of him. And he's been great on the offensive glass this year. But I feel like for me, it kind of stops right there. Like once again, like this year for the second year in a row, the rim finishing against him is way up. Not sure what's going on there. I don't know if it's the perimeter guys that are just putting him in some bad situations, or if it's what I've been arguing for a couple of years now, where it's just kind of a decrease in athleticism, and he's not the same guy anymore, man. Like that hyper, like super bouncy athlete that he once was. He's not that anymore. So that probably plays a part. But I don't think that I can't pay a guy who can only play 16 minutes a game. Like, what is the market for a starting center that can't play starter minutes? And I don't know the answer to that. I just don't see how you bring this guy back if this is all he can give you.
Yeah.
As important as he is. I mean, I don't see it.
It's hard for me because when I look at what he does, I go, okay, he alters so many shots, like for other teams. Like he is, like he may, not be, what you say, rim protector number wise. But if you look at a lot of players, their shots get altered. Their decisions get changed because his presence is there. And so if it's just a matter of Mitch.
But Phil, guys shot 60% at the rim against him last year.
No, I know.
60%.
But what I'm
that's
saying
not
is
an elite rim protector.
Watching the game, you see the altering that would not happen without Mitch in the paint. Like it wouldn't. And so my whole thing is, if you ask me about Mitch alone, the two things that concern me is the amount of money that he wants or is rumored to want with the lack of availability. Like you're giving me even 50 games, a guarantee 55 games a year. Okay, I'm going to give you that money. But there's no guarantee for 55 games on a Mitchell Robinson contract, and even if there is a guarantee 55 games,
but what if
it might come.
What if it's 55 games at 16 minutes per game?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. But you can't even give me a 55 game without a asterisk that says 16 minutes. That's concerning for a lot of money. Second is what direction we're going.
For
because
sure.
I like the idea of two bigs, but Cat's been working better as a 5 than he has been as a 4. Like he's done better when he's played the center role than when he's played alongside Mitch. And having both of them being that neither the power forward nor the center are agile and athletic and fast big men, it slows down this supposed fast pace offense. So if we're moving to a fast paced offense, I don't think that those two on the floor together are going to give you your desired, outcome. And then also when you look at the fact that OG, like Nostalgic just said, is injury prone as well, now you're putting two of your big accounts financially into two players that might not be available for 60 games. And so that's concerning. And so as much as I would not want to see a Knick team without Mitch because of, his defense, and I do like seeing that Jalen Brunson is now starting to look for him and lob it up and give him that opportunity. Like those are looking good. I don't think that at the price point, it's something that we can really log into. And that's the thing that I have to go, okay, this might be where we have to rethink this contract. Like, I think maybe if we did something, a amount of games that need to be played need to be in there. Like, in order to get this kind of money, you have to play this many games, or your salary gets cut, like to preserve, the finances of the Knicks. But I think it's just way too much with the uncertainty. And that's not a knock on Mitch. That's a knock on his availability. I don't want to pay full-time pay for a part-time worker. Like that's just something that I don't have a good conscience of. So that's my thought on that. So let's go into this next pour, and then we'll go into the last topic before we open it up for the open panel. Some people on Twitter have said that they are interested in joining and coming up for the open panel. So I want to make sure that I give them that opportunity to do so. So let's give this next pour a shot and then go from there. And this is one I'm excited about. This is the one finished in the orange curacao casks, and I'm ready for some creamsicle. So tell me a little bit about this one.
Yeah, so orange curacao, it's a liqueur. And this one's pretty fun. Again, this was a 6-year bourbon. This was way back in the day. This is I think 2021 release. And it is just like you said. I mean, not gonna be more your bourbon forward, not going to be literally like a creamsicle.
Yeah.
But heavy vanilla, heavy orange flavor profile. Definitely was one of our most either you love it or you don't releases that I probably have ever done. For sure. It is fun. I'm kind of interested to see what you think after waiting.
All right, I'm excited. He said love it or hate it. That 50 Cent came up in my mind already. Love it or hate it, on the dog on top. All right, so cheers. Let's try this one out.
Hey.
Ooh, yeah, that's delicious. Yeah, that is dang good.
That's really smooth.
That is so good. Yeah, this was worth the wait. This was worth the wait.
What's the proof on that?
When they talk tasting notes, like people expect that if you say honey, that they're gonna feel like you squeeze a thing of honey inside their bourbon cup, and I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want it to taste like a hot toddy, where you just squeeze a lot of honey into your bourbon. Like I want to get the hints of honey. I want to get the things that I like about honey in there, and so. That's one thing that I like about that is that it's those hints of it. And so I'm pumped on this. Like, I think it's got that perfect balance of those, notes that you really, really love in your bourbon. But you get that nostalgia of the orange, vanilla, creamsicle kind of mix in there, which is great because a good bourbon, classic good bourbon, is going to have hints of vanilla anyway. So adding that, like, orange into there is just genius to get that, perfect marriage of that. So this is delicious. I love it.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that was a fun one. We do a couple
that
of different
bottle
ones
ain't
a
gonna
year.
last long.
What'd you say, Joe?
So that bottle ain't gonna last long either.
No, not at all. And the thing is
Yeah.
like bottles last long in my house because like I'm not someone that just like sits all day and drinks, and like when I work with brands, that are sending bottles, like I got these bottles for this episode, like these are gonna last because I have other bottles. But this is the kind of bottle that
Yeah.
I love something so unique that I'm gonna share it over and over and over again. So I love it. So, all right. So Taylor, I appreciate you, bro. Like these have
Yeah,
all
man.
been
Thank you.
delicious. Like I am such a fan of what you are doing. Can you tell people where they can follow you? And maybe something that you're currently working on that you're excited for. And then I'm gonna bring up right after my homie, the Loopy blogger, who's chilling backstage, and he's gonna come up and talk Knicks a little bit. But Taylor, where can they find you and support you?
Yeah, we're at Redline Bourbon on Instagram and Facebook. Just at Redline Bourbon, redlinebourbon.com. And yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of new stuff coming out. So Cherry Brandy is the next experimental cask, like that Orange Carousel you're drinking right now. So that's the next one up that's releasing next month. So it's the
That's
last
awesome.
one for 2025.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, I put every host on the spot, and so far I'm batting, I think 95. I'm unsure of one person's answer. So I got to circle back on what they really meant by it. But we want to start picking Knicks Nightcap bottles. And I
Mhm.
want to add a red line pick to our collection at some point. So what do I got to do to collaborate with you to create a red line Knicks Nightcap pick?
Yeah, I mean, you want to do like a barrel pick? Is that what you're trying to
Yeah.
say? Single barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you at? You're in New York?
Yeah. Well, so I travel full time now, so I'm
Okay.
pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, just send me an email. We definitely do those. We could do something cool, I think.
Cool. Awesome.
I have a really special orange carousel barrel that's been aging since 2021 that never got put into production. It's sitting in the warehouse. That has been aging for about 3 years. So,
So we need to
4 years
taste
now.
that, and we need to
Yeah,
lock that down. There's a reason that the Knicks, say that there's orange and blue skies.
there you
So
go.
because the orange is very, very important. So that would work.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you, Taylor. Thank you so much. Let your cousin know to hit me back so we can lock down that Barrel Station episode, and we
Yeah,
will make sure to include another red line on that episode as well.
awesome, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night, you guys.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Have a
I
great night.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
man. See you
You
later.
too.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
Tyler.
All right, y'all. So we're going to have some people come on up for the open panel. If you are in the chat and you want to talk Knicks, you want to talk any of the topics that we've talked about so far, and you want to chime in on the last few topics that we will be talking about, feel free to click that link. Come on up. Do me a favor. I just tweeted it, retweet it. But this past week, I got to do that event in Orlando, and it was a blast. It was just a lot of fun hanging out with Knicks fans. And I connected with the Loopy blogger. And if you don't know who the Loopy blogger is, like this dude is hilarious.
How could you not
And
know?
and he's a Knicks fan. If you don't know him on Instagram, he's got over 72,000 Instagram followers. And so being hilarious, being a stand-up dude just from hanging out with him and connecting with him, and the fact that he's a Knicks fan made me want to continue to build with him. So I will be doing some video at his upcoming Orlando watch party the next time they play the Knicks. But I wanted to just hear his thoughts on, how the Knicks are doing right now, and also, what his thoughts are for the rest of the season. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guy, the Loopy freaking blogger. What up?
What it do, my brothers?
Chilling. How you
What's
doing?
up, bro?
How you hit? How's my volume?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Yo, thanks for having me, guys, man. I'm loving what you guys got going on. I was definitely in the conversation. Reed was dropping some shit. All you guys were dropping some knowledge, man. And Great show, man. Great show. And I
Appreciate
definitely
you.
want some of that whiskey, baby.
Yeah, bro. Hey, when you come up for that Orlando watch party, I'll bring you samples of the four that we
Okay.
tasted tonight.
Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome, man.
So
I'm
what are
looking
your
forward
thoughts,
to that.
Luffy? You know, like I know you're a Knicks fan. I know you were at that watch party. I know you unfortunately watched us get our teeth kicked in that
Yeah.
night in the Orlando arena. So what are some of the kinks in the armor that you're seeing right now for the Knicks?
One big thing that stood out to me, what was said by Reed. He says that Carl Anthony Towns will give you 40 and then come for the next week and give you 2, 3 fucking. One thing he's gonna do is give you rebounds. You know what I mean? But he's not consistent on the offensive side of the ball, and that's what we need, man. And he got to step it up a little bit on defense, man. Like it's either you in or you out, brother. Come on, you got a hungry city behind you that's ready to go bananas, and it's like you're teasing us. You
Yep.
putting the you're putting the tip in, and you're not thrusting. You're not going full throttle. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So. And I got mad love and respect for Cap, man, but he's just got to be a little more consistent, man. He's the missing piece, man. You know?
You know what I love about what you said besides your rated R version of the Knicks.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, Loop is
What,
yo. Shout out to you, Loop. Yo,
Oh,
I
man.
appreciate you, man.
what I
Word,
love
yo.
about it was, you know, you're not being
Oh shit.
unrealistic. You know, you're not tackling Cat's defensive issues because we know those are there, you know,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to be this all NBA player based on your offense. So when you're not consistent with the one thing that you're known for, that becomes the issue, you know, because we know you're not going to be consistent with defense. So
Mm.
we brought you here to be that offense. And if you're not being that offense night in and night out, then that brings concern, you know,
We're
because
second
that's
guessing you,
how you're
brother.
brought to do.
We're second guessing you. Then you got everybody on Twitter. They're fed up. They're fed up. They're fed up. Even if he gives you 40. That's like last night he gave us 37 and 12. But people are still skeptical, man. And I want to
Yeah.
root for him. I love Cap, man. Big Dominican from Jersey. He made it out. He made it out. But it's not consistent, my brother. And we
Yeah.
need consistency, man.
And that's the one thing that, like, for me, I love seeing someone from our area
Mm,
representing our team, you know, but like you should have a different kind of pride when you're actually representing your own people, you know?
absolutely.
Like there
Absolutely.
should be a different hunger for Cat in New York than for Cat in Minnesota, you know, because like you didn't come from the white suburbs of Minnesota, you know,
Mm,
that
mm.
of people that you don't understand, you know, so you're playing for a bunch of people that don't understand your struggle, you know, but you come back to New York. I expect you to have that hunger and that passion, you know,
Yeah.
that New Yorkers are known for, because
Yes.
you can't one game pull out the jersey and be like, read the jersey, you know, and be like, oh, and then the next day, you know, you're getting bullied by like mediocre power forwards, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's scary,
it's a
man.
pride thing.
Facts.
Thank
Facts.
God.
So
Thank God Shaq's not around.
yeah, oh
Oh,
goodness, bro. Not even Shaq. Like there's so many like power forwards of that day that could dominate as centers right now. Like Tracy McGrady could be a top
Mm,
center in the league, you know?
absolutely.
Like
facts.
he's
First
crazy.
him.
Yeah, you know,
Power
like so
forward, word.
it's crazy to me. But Loopy, what do you got going on that people can support and rock with you?
Well, right now, I got a little podcast I'm doing with Lilo from Bronx Tale. It's called The Culture Project. We're doing that. Uh, right now, I'm hosting a bunch of I actually put a party, like a party event together, like how would I say it? I got an entertainment company
Okay.
throwing parties out, comedy parties out all over the states. And our first one was actually for my birthday, 11/15, out in Orlando. It did really, really well. We booked some great talent out there. I hosted the show. I never did stand up in my life. And for some reason, after the show was done, a lot of people were telling me, kid, you need to work on your stand up. You were pretty awesome out there. So that's another thing I'm looking into venturing to, maybe start out 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and see where it leads from there. Because I think I naturally have a gift. So I wanna start doing some stand-up. I want to start doing some more parties. I want to do some more watch parties, and just keep the ball rolling, man. We got a lot of steam right now.
I
And I
love that, bro.
always did, man. Listen, brother, not for nothing, man. I had big pages, 400,000 followers. I lost them all due to my addiction. I was wilding on the gram with, I was fucking using Xanax. I was using Percocets, excuse my French. And I ended up moving out to Florida 4 years ago, and I ended up getting clean, and everything just changed for me, man. So I just want to keep riding that smooth train and keep doing what I'm meant to do, and
Yeah.
that's touching people's hearts, and being a sports guru, man. Because I love my Knicks, man. I love my Knicks, my Yankees, my Rangers. I just became a Giants fan this year. Excuse me, I don't want to turn y'all off, but
No, you good.
I was a Cowboys fan since I was 10 years old. I don't know how the fuck I don't excuse my French. I don't know how that happened, but I got inducted into Giants Twitter, and they let me become a fan. They accepted me with open arms because of my energy, and I'm just looking forward to building with Giants fans and hopefully seeing the Giants win the Super Bowl on my time.
All right, all right.
Other
Well,
than
I'm
that,
gonna say
that's
a few
about it.
things. I'm gonna say a few things on that.
Yes,
One,
sir.
pursue that comedy thing, because
Thank you, brother.
naturally you just have that personality, that you just exuberate, like you just exemplify what it looks like to entertain.
Thank you,
Like,
man.
even in conversation with you, you just have that personality. And that's the biggest thing you need. You can always work on the jokes over time, polish them and stuff like that, but a lot of people can have great content and lack of personality. You're gonna have that perfect balance, so keep that up.
Thank you.
Second, you know I want to say, on behalf of everybody on this panel and everyone in the chat, congratulations on getting clean, bro.
Oh,
Like,
thank you, man. Thank
first,
you, brother, man. I
that's
appreciate
one
that.
thing to do. That's one thing to be able to publicly share it,
Yeah.
as this is something I overcame, because it can blindside what you do, and who you really are.
Oh,
When
it did.
people
It
think
did
that
for me
that's
for
who you
years.
are. And so, like, even on this show all the time, I tell people, hey, I'm on here promoting these whiskey brands, but if you can't drink responsibly, don't drink. Don't try
Yes.
any of these. If you
Yes.
can't drink responsibly, if you can't be a person of character while enjoying these, don't enjoy them. So I completely want to congratulate you on behalf of everybody in the chat. There's so many people congratulating you right now.
Thank you, my brother.
That is beautiful, bro. And I'm so
I
proud of you.
appreciate that.
And I know you got big things coming.
Yes,
You
sir.
are always welcome in the Knicks community. If you have content that, like, let's say you're working on some jokes that might have some Knicks stuff in there,
Okay.
me and Apollo have an open door for you to come on up,
I
share those
appreciate
on the
that.
channel.
Definitely.
As far as your Giant stuff, nah, bro, you're gonna die before seeing that. All right, like, and this is coming from a Jet fan who's probably gonna die in the same boat. But your
We'll die
guys'
holding
days are
hands
over.
together.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we got misery to, like, comfort each other. You just see me and Loopy holding each other every NFL season just to get by. So yeah, I love it. I appreciate you, bro,
No, I
and I'll hit
appreciate
you
you
up.
guys for tapping me in, man.
Of
That shit
course,
means a lot to me, brother.
open door any week you want to come up and talk in the open
I'll be
panel. You
tuned
are
in. I'll
welcome.
be tuned in. I like the way you handle business. I rock with you, man. As soon as pause, I laid my eyes on you. I said, "This is the guy right here. This guy right here. He makes shit come to life, and this is the kind of guy we need in our corner. Just even if he's not working with us, just to hear his input, and maybe he could give us some tips on fucking life in the entertainment world, man. Because this is the guy right here. And my
Thank you,
friends,
bro.
my friends felt me. They said, "Nah, yeah,
Nah, I
he's the
love
shit."
connecting with you and your whole crew. Like, I added every single one of them that night, because it was just good people. So I appreciate you. Appreciate the support that you've shown already. I'm looking
Yes, sir.
forward to connecting with you at your watch party.
Yes, sir.
And so, do us a favor. Once again, do me a favor. I'm gonna cut this clip today celebrating you and your recovery and all that stuff, because people need to know, that there are good people that might have been seen in a certain light and people didn't follow because of that light, but there are second chances and people, have the opportunity to make the best out of their life. And you're doing that right now. And I
Yes, sir.
acknowledge that. And I love that about you, bro. So
I
thank you for
appreciate
coming
that.
up, bro.
Word, man.
Anytime, man. Yo, you read, brother. Stay black. My man,
What's up? What's up?
my man
Yo,
Joey. Do your thing, man. Keep spitting
yeah,
that venom, baby. I
word.
appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Have a good
Salute
one,
to you,
bro.
bro.
Talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
word,
you.
word, peace.
Thanks, man. You have a good night, bro.
All right. Without further ado, all right.
Dope.
I'm out in Dallas, right? And I'm catching the Knicks game. And it's unfortunately an embarrassing effort. And we are going toe to toe with a team that doesn't have Kyrie Irving, doesn't have street clothes AD, doesn't have Cooper Flag. And Knicks fans, we are frustrated. Like, we are not enjoying what we're watching. However, what we did enjoy is being Knicks
Yeah,
fans
that
and
was rough.
connecting with other Knicks fans. So we got to connect with other Knicks fans at halftime. And my homegirl, Miss Knicks from Nixonish, was there hanging out with her family and her people. And so we got to connect at halftime, and that was a total blessing to connect with her. So she's backstage, and she's going to come talk. So without further ado, here's my homegirl, Miss Nix.
Hey y'all,
Peace.
what's up?
Chilling. How are you?
I'm good. I could be better. If the Knicks were playing a little better these days, I would be much better.
Yep. No, I feel you. So what are your thoughts on things right now? Like, what are your thoughts on, what we were talking about earlier? First, I'll go the Karl Anthony Towns. Like, what is causing the inconsistencies in the cat we see from game to game?
I think it's the offense that we're running. I think I said it on Knicks and Ish. I think the key, what up, nostalgic Knicks? I think the key to the offense is Cat. I think he is absolutely the most important piece of the Knicks offense, right? I think the offense doing that spray three is terrible. It's a terrible idea for this Knicks team when we're so talented in getting into the paint. Cat needs to have the ball. He needs to get going early on. He needs to pound the paint and put other teams, big guys, into submission. And I think that's the issue. We're wanting him to just be the 3-point Cat when that's not Cat. Cat is an inside and outside player. And we're not utilizing his skill set correctly. And I think the issue is not Cat. The issue is the offense that we're running.
So here's the thing is, nostalgic Nick is saying you guys aren't talking about the system. I think it's a both and. Like, I think that's what so many Knicks players don't realize, Knicks fans don't realize, is that it's not an either or. Like, so many times you hear it's either this or it's that. And it's like, no, there's a middle ground where both of those things can be true. Like, it can be true that Mike Brown's system right now is having flaws. And we talked about it earlier. You can't implement the new system and say, I'm not going to implement any plays.
Right.
Like, how do you expect players that have not played in this system, especially players that have come from different teams over the last 3 years, and say, hey, here's my system idea. Let's see how it works out without implementing any plays? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, at the end of the day, if I want to get to New York City from Florida, I can't just get on the road and hope I get there. Like, oh, well, I know that I'm going to New York. Well, that's great. Not every freaking road's going to get me to New York. Like, I need a GPS. I need somewhere that I'm going. There has to be a middle ground of, hey, okay, I might take a different turn or two because I see something that I don't like and I want to go around that. That's fine. You can do that as an all-star. You can do that as an all-NBA player, but you still need some sort of direction. Don't just tell me that we're going somewhere and not give me a blueprint of how we're getting there. That's the issue with Mike Brown, okay? Is that
Phil's analogies be crazy.
He's got a great idea of where we want to go, but you have to find a way to get us there. And so that's my problem with Mike. And then my problem with the players is you see glimpses of them being able to evolve and it work. And then all of a sudden they go back to the thing that didn't work the game before. Like you were talking about Cat. Cat has proven that he can be powerful in the paint and still be a 3-point dominant presence in the back and can still facilitate. Like he can do all three of those things. But in some games, he throws away the paint and just chucks up threes and goes 1 for 8 from 3. Like, why does that sound good? You just missed 5. You don't want to try something else? Like you missed 5 in a row. You don't want to try to at least get the easy 2-pointer. So I think there's a balance of both of those being an issue. Mike Brown needs to actually implement some structure to his idea so his players can fully buy in. But those players also need to stop resulting back to things that have not worked for them in the past.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. But I also feel like Mike Brown, he didn't study this Knicks team the way he should have before trying to implement things, right? Because when you look at it, the team realistically is the same team as last year, right? Like we didn't really change major pieces. And although last year's team didn't defend perfectly, they did defend. And we are not seeing any defense at all. 0. We're not seeing guys trying to fight over picks. We're just seeing, switching and allowing no-name players to hit huge threes on us and have career nights. Like he didn't study this team. The Knicks identity for as long as I've lived has been defense, right? If y'all look around my age, like 90s Knicks was defense. That was our identity when we were successful the most. You know what I mean? Even up to last year in the playoffs, we won because, offensively we played well, but defense got us to where we needed to be, right? Like Macau's steals and Macau's defense and OG's defense throughout the playoffs, like that held us down. And we all know defense wins championships. And I don't know if he's not preaching it, he's not implementing it, he's not holding guys accountable to it. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And I agree with you. Like, the Knicks players are just going into what doesn't work when they know their skill set. But at the same time, if your coach is telling you, break down the defense, pop out and pass to a 3, and that's what you're doing because that's what you're being told to do. That's the whole spray 3 idea, right? Instead of, okay, let me break down the D. If I made it in, let me get an easy layup. It's common sense, right? Like we know that's basketball 101. You take the easiest shot.
Yeah.
the Knicks are literally making it hard on themselves.
Miss Knicks.
Yes.
What's crazy that you say that? I pretty much watched most of the post game stuff, and way too many times to piggyback off of what you're saying. I've heard Mike Brown say, "I didn't know what the hell I was doing," and it's just like, bruh, like I don't. That's not what I want to hear. It's not what I want to hear. Like that doesn't make me feel good as a fan from the outside. Not knowing what's going on in that building every day, that's not what I want to hear, man. That the coach is saying he doesn't know what the hell he was doing, or he didn't know what the hell he was doing. It makes me very nervous. It's very unsettling.
Yeah. So I agree. And this is where I have to also go, okay, but these guys aren't a bunch of rookies who don't understand how things can work in the modern day NBA. Like you have experienced players who can figure things out, and you see what works. We all can see what works and what doesn't work. And none of us have ever been on an NBA roster, like at the end of the day. So my frustration, and I'm going to play this clip, is because I see this kind of thing and I go, okay, whether Mike Brown is killing it or not, you watch this clip and you go, oh, this actually works. The idea of the system, whether he's implementing the system correctly or not, the idea of it, of moving the ball, gravitating your defenders, and then dishing it out works. And you don't result to that over and over again, That to me doesn't make sense, is when you see something work and you don't continue to go back to it. So like this play right here, this is the perfect play for Karl Anthony Towns. Like perfect. And it goes to what Miss Nix is talking about. Insert some dominance. You don't have to give up being a finesse player to be a dominant player. You don't have to give up being the best shooting big man of all time to be a dominant player. But you have to use your upper hand in the fact that you know you can do this and your defenders know you can do this. So why not use it for your benefit? Especially if you're not having a 3 for 5, 3 for 6, 3-point shooting night, and you're going 1 for 7. So something like this just shows that when Cat does it right, it's influential. It makes an impact. So this clip right here, all right, let me play it real quick.
See, now you're more on target. Only 35.
And the Knicks are like third in offense, so the offense works.
Cat in the paint is always going to draw. Let me shut off that. Cat in the paint is always going to draw a double team. Always. Like, there's very rarely in this modern day NBA that a center is going to try to take on Cat alone. You might get like the Rudy Goberts. You might get like him and Victor back and forth. But a lot of times, since we don't have a 90s era NBA, that center is going to call for backup. Or someone is just going to naturally go and do that. So even if Cat is not going to take the shot, it requires a double team to try and slow him down. The fact that we don't see that multiple times throughout a game is frustrating. Like, you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Still be the greatest shooting big man in the world, but also realize that you don't have to always shoot the three. You can make somebody come and double team you and let Brunson shoot the three. Let Miles McBride shoot the three. Instead of you don't have the shot, you finally give it up and they're shooting a contested three. We shoot better we're not elite 3-pointers shooters. We're just not. The Knicks are not the Golden State Warriors. They're not OKC. They're not, these other teams that are known for shooting the three at an incredibly high clip. So why not do what we can to get them the easiest 3-pointer possible? And Cat can do that by drawing the defense like that.
No, I agree for sure. I mean, like you said, we're not an elite 3-point shooting team, which is why I feel like the system is not a good system for us. When it works, when the shots are falling, it looks great. But when they do not fall, it looks like what we saw in Dallas. Terrible. It looks like what we saw in Brooklyn. Terrible. It looks like what we saw in Orlando. Terrible. You know what I mean? We don't have that skill set of just 3-point lethal shooters to have that spray 3 mentality. When in fact we have Cat who can penetrate. When in fact we have Mikal whose mid-range is outrageously unstoppable. Like, not many guys defending Mikal can stop his mid-range. You know what I mean? We have guys that penetrate well and can get mid-range, that can break down defense. And again, the system is not using their skill set to be beneficial.
So go, Apollo. I'll let you go.
There was a few plays last night while I'm watching Mikal, and I'm like, you could have shot it there. Now I'm wondering if that was his own judgment or is that the read and react? You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, teams are starting to catch on to it because guys were knowing exactly where the pass was going before it even got there. You know what I mean? And that's why I get frustrated when I'm watching, because I'm like, all right, well, somebody other than Jalen got to have a killer mindset. You know what I mean? At some point, like, let's take the shot. I know we're in the system and the system is supposed to, lead to it, but you have to read and react. You literally have to read and react. If you don't see that the system, the defense understands what's going on, and you have to put pressure in certain areas. That's why when they run a zone, what do? You put a guy in the middle because it breaks the zone out. It's the same thing. You guys have to read and react to the system. And a lot of times I see they're so keen on just trying to pass the ball around instead of just trying to get into something that works, that they put themselves into a situation where now it's like it's 5 seconds left and now somebody just got to put a shot up. You know what I mean? So that's just what I got to add.
You know what's crazy?
I feel you. I mean, There was plays, especially yesterday, where they overpassed, and it just made me nervous. Like, what are we doing against the Brooklyn Nets? Like,
Right.
we're not talking about OKC or great. We're talking about the Brooklyn Nets.
And that's what we talked about earlier. You know, it's so frustrating. My son is 7 years old and can go, I want to come on the show and talk about how it's embarrassing that we're that close to the Brooklyn Nets, because it is, you know. And so what I love about this fan base is like just reading the comments, and even here on the panel, everyone sees it a little bit differently, you know. But at the end of the day, I don't want to swing the pendulum so far one way or so far the other way that I miss a valid point from somebody on the other side, you know. And so that's why I go, okay, I blame Mike Brown. Like I said earlier to Apollo and Joe, you don't implement a new system and not at least implement a few plays that these players can rely on. Like when things seem stagnant, don't just ask them to read and react, because if it's a new system, they're not going to all react the same way when things are stagnant. You need at least 2 plays to bank on and break that monotony and say, hey, run this play. Get them back in the groove of actually working together as a team. Because when you result into the ISO and it domino effects down, there's an issue. So Mike Brown has got the issues there. But in the same thing, if I'm Cat, I know what my skill sets are. I know what works. I know what I can do in those moments. I need to rely on what I know is going to help get us a guaranteed bucket. And that is drawing defenders to me, helping Jalen Brunson or whatever guard is on there or whatever, you know, wing is in the corner, get the open shot. Same with McHale. Like, okay, right now we're stagnant. I know it's read and react, but I also know that I'm one of the best mid-range shooters in the game. Since DeMar DeRozan, I probably have the best mid-range the NBA has seen. So what do you want to do to like break out of a slump of us going back-to-back with stupid teams like the Nets? Put it in the hands of the guaranteed 2-point shot. Why are we giving away the guaranteed mid-range to go back out to somebody else to shoot a 3? That doesn't make sense. Get the guaranteed bucket, start us up again. We need to actually have accountability on the players and the coach, because they're both dropping the ball right there. And so I'm going to take a pause real quick, and I'm going to bring up one of my favorite people in the Knicks, Mr. Stylish himself, Mr. Eddie freaking Preston.
What up? What up, Phil?
What up, Eddie?
What up, guys? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Chilling, man. Chilling. I saw you give me the request. I'm like, yo, I gotta hop on, man. I gotta hop
Yes,
on.
sir. So what are your thoughts, bro? Like some people are blaming, you know, Cat. Some people are blaming Mike Brown. Some people are blaming the system. I'm blaming both. What are your thoughts?
What's the blame? What are we blaming exactly?
We're
we
talking about the fact that we can go toe to toe with teams like the Nets that we should be blowing out of the water.
Well, we kicked the shit out of them in the second half.
Well, I mean, yeah, they hung around with us for one half. They out rebounded us specifically on the offensive glass, and we cleaned that up in the second half, right? Yeah.
Right. I think they only got 5 offensive rebounds in the second half. We started hitting our shots, and we started taking the right shots. Specifically Karl-Anthony Towns. He got into the paint. He used different moves than he normally does. Did that little lefty floater, added things that we are not used to seeing. So we did our job against a shitty team. Okay. And that's fine. Again, it's the Nets. I'm happy that we actually got a chance to see the kids play, because I've been specifically clamoring to see guys like Diawara, guys like Kolek play, because we have a need for them. Diawara in particular, because he's a tall wing, and that's something this team needs. This team on defense is really small, and we get exposed all the time, right? And we now got to see Diawara play. We got to see all of them play last night, and they were all garbage. They were terrible. So, like, they're scared to shoot. Huck, Porty, Diawara, scared to shoot, scared to take the ball. Like, if you get these minutes, make something of them. Do something. Like, don't just fucking sit back. I want to see what you got. I want to fucking see it. So, overall, we're 10-6. Without OG Anunoby, we're a totally different team. We're undersized. We can't defend. So, our best bet is to outscore everybody. But that doesn't happen every night. Our percentages are nowhere near where we were last year, right? Carlton Towns is the player he was last year. I mean, he's averaging 16 points a game in our losses. On the road, I think he's like, after last night, the points have went up. But up until last night, he was averaging like 16.4 points a game in the losses, missing, turning the ball over. He's been awful. Carlton Towns, to me, has been awful, in particular in our losses. There was some stretches in that home stretch where he was okay. But if this team's going to win, we want them to get out of the East. I think everybody expects them to get out of the East. Although that might change now that we see Detroit is really, really good. But as of what they did last, there's no Boston, no Indiana. They should get out of the East.
Yeah. And one thing that you said, Dorkosaurus, shout out to my guy Dorkosaurus. He was like, how were they poor? I feel like with Kolek, I'm enjoying Kolek minutes because I feel like regardless of where he falls short, I see a confidence that we didn't see in a lot of our guards last year and the year before when it comes to like first and second.
I liked his game last night.
Yeah, first and second year.
But he can't shoot, though. He needs to be able to score.
He does.
His defense was great. I'm not talking about his defense.
He does.
But I feel like that's going to come with time because if you look in the preseason and the early part of the game, early part of the season, everyone was talking about this guy's a cone on defense. He's never going to be a contributor because he's a cone on defense. But he's actually elevated himself in that, So I feel like the start of his season was similar to what Emmanuel Quickley's first year was, where everyone was like, he could score, but he's horrible on defense. And then Emmanuel Quickley turned it around and like focused on his defense. So I feel like we give Tyler Kolek a little more time and a little more minutes. I think he's going to continue
100%.
To develop.
What Kolek?
And that goes for all of these guys, Phil. That goes for all of these guys.
What Kolek did last night is when they had him pick up full court. That's when the difference was made. He was playing them at a full court, and he was playing hard on defense. So I'll give Kolek credit on defense.
And so that's the thing is when, for the full-on Tibbs supporters, I understand you want to love Tibbs, cool, but it makes me go, why did we not give any opportunities to Kolek last year? Imagine the growth of him last year to do that, and then this year – already having that year under his belt of growth to become a defender, to become a scorer. So for him, I give him a pass because he's pretty much in his rookie year, in my opinion, for the New York Knicks. This is his real rookie year. Diawara is one that I wanted to see so bad because we need that length. We are a small team and teams eat us up when it comes to them being taller than us. The OKCs, the Spurs, the Pistons, they're all going to take advantage of that. And that's when we need Diawara to step up. And so for me, I don't care if you miss 5 out of 5. Take the 5 freaking shots and start getting comfortable, at least trying to be an effective part of our team. Second guessing everything and not actually using any of your skill sets. You are how tall? You have how much of a wingspan? Why is the only shot you're shooting is a UFO 3-pointer? Get in the paint and show me that your height and length are beneficial to my roster. Show me why we need you, And so that was my frustration with Diawara last night was use your strengths, which is your height.
Drive.
That you are, he can run the floor. Drive, make people foul you. Use the Pascal Siakam tactic that you are stronger and longer than they are. And if they're going to stop you, you'll miss the basket, but at least you're taking 2 from the free throw line. So that was the thing for me with Diawara last night that I wanted to see that I didn't get to see and was a bit frustrated about.
So for me with Kolek, I'll go back to Kolek. Kolek's skill set of seeing his vision on the court is amazing.
Yep.
I think although Eddie, he's not a scoring point guard, if you put him in with the right rotation, it will work because of his vision. You put him in with a Cat, you put him in with a Macau. Don't just put him in with the third string guys who aren't looking to score. You know what I mean? Don't
Agreed.
Put him in with the Josh Harts and the guys who aren't trying to score. We need to be putting him in, with at least 1 or 2 starters. let him get comfortable, and then the scoring will come. Because then his game will be easier. He won't be overthinking it. But his vision on the court is A1.
Yeah, 5 assists in 13 minutes. You're right. I'm just saying, when you're down people last night, especially with the bench we had, you need Kolek to score. You're going to need that because look at the guys that score off the bench. It's not much, especially what we have right now.
So Apollo, go for it, and then throw it back to me.
No, I'm just because I just looked over at the stats, right? So you got Hug Porter who played 12 minutes, you got Kolek who played 17, right? And Diawara played 4 minutes, and everybody else under that, right? So they're not going to get a lot of shots up with those guys. But that's the sad part, is that if Jordan Clarkson isn't hitting the shots, so like Jordan Clarkson didn't hit a 3 out of 6 shots last night, right? So if you look at the bench outside of Yabusele and Jordan Clarkson, Tyler Kolek is the only one who hit a shot out of 4 shots. You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing. We're not saying that he played a bad game. What Eddie is saying is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is we need someone else who can be aggressive with the ball in their hands. Just to put the ball in the rim. You don't have to be Jalen Brunson. We're not asking you to be Jalen. You know what I mean? But a lot of our guys are still figuring out who they are. You know what I mean? Mohamed Diawara is figuring out who he is. And there's not a lot of time for him to figure out who he is. If you get in 4 minutes, like Huck Porty has been here before Diawara, and Huck Porty is just now getting minutes to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
So I think that's a great point, and also validates what I'm talking about. So
Diawara and Huck Porty is just now getting minutes to.
What was that?
That was me. My bad.
Like me.
I was reposting.
So with Kolek, I think people need to realize that, like, when we say, Jalen Brunson is not, your standard point guard, he's more of a shooting guard. Don't hold Tyler Kolek to that standard. Hold Tyler Kolek to the actual standard of what a point guard is, because I feel like Tyler Kolek is doing what a point guard should do, not be a score first kind of guy, but be a facilitator. The problem is that the other guys, when they're out there with him, the rotation isn't right. You're not putting the right scorers next to him. Tyler Kolek needs more minutes with Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges, in those moments, needs to take off his facilitator hat and put on, because when he's playing with Brunson, since Brunson's not a facilitator, Mikal tries to facilitate. Well, with Kolek, he has to switch the hat.
Correct.
Let Kolek be the facilitator, and now you be the guaranteed scorer. Yeah. And so that's the thing, is like, we need to play to our skill sets based on which players we're on the court with. And that's my frustration with games like yesterday against the Nets. Yes, we played decent in the second half, but the fact that we did not play up to our potential and we played down to the potential of one of the worst teams in the league in the first half.
But they've been better, though, lately. Since the last time we saw them, they've gotten better.
They've gotten better, but not enough to the fact that our guys like Diawara are not coming in until the 4th. Because
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Those are games where we should be doing so well that in the 3rd and 4th quarter, we're seeing Diawara minutes, instead of, we got 3.5 minutes out of these guys because it was such a close game against a bottom feeding team like the Nets. That's a problem on our starters that cause an issue for our bench players and their development, So my whole thing is, have grace where grace needs to be and accountability where there needs to be accountability. Tyler Kolek, I feel, is rising to the occasion for what he's been given. Like you said, you put him out there with guys like Clarkson. Clarkson has some games where I'm like, that's the Clarkson that I'm so glad that we got. Then games like yesterday, I'm like, come on, you got to find a shot. You got to find a shot, because if you're getting all these passes, we need some points on the board. So I think there's that balance. For me, Kolek has risen. And like I said, I'm going to have grace, because to me, this is his rookie year. This is the year he's actually getting to play, actually getting to develop. And I think that he's doing it at a great pace, because defensively in the preseason, we thought we were going to waive him because of his defensive liabilities in the preseason. And now he's doing great comparatively to what he was. So I think over time, it's going to happen.
Go ahead, Joe.
I will say this, though, Phil. I think that, last year when Jalen Brunson went down and Kolek had to play, he played really well. Right? I feel like a lot of people forget that. Like, he's already shown that he can be a backup NBA point guard.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why the Knicks are so hesitant to put him in that role. I'm not sure why we were, I don't know, dying to sign Malcolm Brogdon. A guy who didn't even want to play basketball, we found out later. I didn't get that at all when the kid already showed that he could hold down the fort when Jalen Brunson missed 15 games.
Yeah.
So I don't really get what the Knicks hesitant. I guess they're in championship mode and, they don't really want to mess around with a kid. But when you drafted these kids, he's the highest paid second rounder of all time. Why pay this kid all of his money? Why draft him if you don't believe in him? Same can be said for Diawara. Same can be said for Dadier. I said this on the Guard Up Knicks podcast, Cap.
Mm-hmm.
What did we draft these kids for if we have zero interest in ever giving them any chance at all? Basically, what Leon and company are telling me is that they made a mistake, 3 mistakes, by drafting these 3 kids if they can't see the light of day. If we're looking to waive Tyler Kolek to possibly make Malcolm Brogdon a part of this roster, we've made a mistake. You paid him more than any second rounder has ever been paid in the history of the NBA, and you're scared to put him in the game. Make it make sense, man.
So here's the thing. I understand the criticism, but I also have to tip my hat off, okay? So you have the potential to add 2 former 6-man of the year players to your roster, okay? So it's not like he's competing against bums, like he's going up against 2 guys that
he didn't even want to play.
No, I know.
He retired.
We didn't know that at the time. Like hindsight's 2020.
Right.
When you have the final chapter of the book, it's easy to say that, like that's crazy talk. At the time that they were competing for the spot, no one knew that, like only Malcolm Brogdon knew that was a possibility. And I think that it pushed him even further because he realized that it was still that close of a contention to a kid that barely got any minutes last year, in Tyler Kolek. And so my whole thing is you have a team that is championship focused in the Knicks, and you have the potential to add 2 former 6th man of the years. The fact that Tyler Kolek was still getting, the opportunity to be a possibility in that shows something from the front office that they do believe in him, and here's the thing it's unfortunate to me that the only time we really got to see him last year was in those Jalen Brunson injury times.
Right.
Because as soon as Brunson came back,
Phil, if I believe in you though, Phil, if I believe in you, I'm not looking to push you further down the depth chart. I'm just not.
No, I know
even for an older veteran, even for a former 6-man of the year, because that guy hadn't been the same player since he won the 6-man of the year award.
That. But here's the thing. Is we only had a small pocket to judge Tyler Kolek, unfortunately, because of how he was coached last year. Like, imagine letting Tyler Kolek. It's very similar to look at what happened with Linsanity, okay? Like, Jeremy Lin comes in and he keeps the Knicks afloat while Carmelo Anthony is out. Carmelo comes back. All of a sudden, it's as if we never had Jeremy Lin on the team. And
also, Miami exposed them.
Yeah, and so but what I'm saying is that's similar to how it was, like what could have happened if we kept that same high, and saw what could be, with that high we were on plus Carmelo, and we didn't allow that to happen last year. And now you're seeing even minutes where Brunson and Kolek are on the floor together, and it's still finding a way to work. Why? Because the facilitator that Tyler Kolek is the facilitator that Jalen Brunson is not, and so I'm actually thankful that he's still here and we're getting those opportunities. Yes, it might not be as much as we all want because we're like, this guy's in his 2nd year. He should be getting, but what I'm saying is reset your 2nd year idea. Besides that short stint where he took Jalen Brunson's place, this is really his rookie year. And I at least am thankful that he's getting minutes and we're seeing those minutes be productive because we can bank on that. We can continue to grow on that and use him throughout the season and through the playoffs. So for me, I'm thankful for the progression. I'm thankful that he's here. But it's not like he was being in competition against some nobody, no-name NBA player, that was past their prime and was a has-been. Besides the injury, Malcolm Brogdon was still a very reputable, point guard, especially off the bench. So it's not like we were just throwing Tyler Kolek away. With Diawara, I think it's a different subject because we don't have a valid backup power forward that has any height at all. And the fact that he is not getting minutes is frustrating. But like Eddie said, when you get those opportunities, you need to freaking shine. Like, that's one thing you see in every reality TV show, every actual business, is when you get called up and you do not step up to the plate, it's on you as much as it is the people that didn't bring you up earlier, because now you're getting the opportunity and you're giving them validation to why they didn't call you up earlier. So you got to utilize those minutes that you get.
And I get that, Phil, but isn't that a little hard when you're playing with different teams per se? Like he's not getting put into the game with the same rotation every time. Players can't produce in 4 minutes. Like that's just not natural. Like it takes time. It takes guys getting comfortable on the court, and we're not giving him those type of minutes. I think the G League, he needs to go down to the G League, get some burn, and then maybe get called back up when he's a little more comfortable. Kind of like what we did with Deuce, right?
Yeah.
Like we need to build him. We can't just expect him to go into a game with different lineups. Every game he gets put in with a different lineup and expect him to produce and be comfortable and know his role. Clearly our main guys don't even know their roles right now. So to expect a rookie who gets 5 minutes every 2 or 3 games to expect him to come in and shine, that's not realistic.
All right, so don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah,
He was scared to shoot.
Yeah.
Like all I want out of you, dude, give me one drive to the fucking basket, get it in. That's it. Then I know, okay, this guy could actually drive to the hole. This guy could guard somebody. That you could do that in 3 minutes. You could do that. You could show your coach, I am capable of doing this.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
When I see Diawara, as much as I liked his potential, what I see is he settles for threes a lot. For somebody at his size and the length that he has, I would like to see him get in the paint a little bit more. A head fake and get to the basket, because he has the stature to really be effective in that game style.
And that to Eddie's point, and to answer you, Miss Nix, I don't care if in those 3 minutes you bring me any points. Like I really don't. Like I want to know what you did with those 3 minutes. Like if you are Diawara's height and his, build, and what we're saying is we need that height and that build.
He's exactly what we need.
Exactly. Yep.
And what you do with that 3 minutes is stand at the 3-point line, and the one shot you shoot is a UFO. That's an issue to me. I want you to drive to the basket and get fouled. You could even miss both free throws. I don't give a crap.
Thank you.
Yep.
What did you do with that 3 minutes? What did you do with that 1.5 minutes? Why was your back not to the basket against the smaller defender? Why are they able to give you room from the 3-point line? Why is that you're not utilizing those minutes to the best of their potential? And I see Dorkasaurus, and I love that dude, but I see him going on and on about missed opportunities because it's not enough time. Hey, guess what? Right now on this show, I tasted 4 whiskeys. Did I need a whole glass to know that they were good? No.
Yo, this guy with his analogies, man.
I had less than an ounce.
It's a good point.
Less than an ounce. Not even buzzed. However, I know from that less than an ounce whether it's something I want to continue to drink or something that I'm going to put aside and never touch again. Why? Because of what it delivered in that 1 ounce. I didn't need 4 ounces for it to tell me if it was good or not. I needed 1 ounce to taste it and see what it had to offer. not what it could fully deliver, but what it had to offer. And unfortunately, in that small 3 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes, I did not see Diawara say, hey, I'm going to use what I have to the best of my ability, whether or not it produced a basket or not. And that's what I wanted to see.
And
Tyler Kolek, yes, his height is still a liability. However, I want Kolek minutes because I know that he's going to leave everything out on the court when he's out there. And I know he's going to try to the best of his abilities to make an impact. So that's the thing for me is I don't care what the bottom of the bottle tastes like. Show me what you have to offer in that small sample size so that I want to pour a little bit more. And so that's what I was upset with about Diawara is not that he didn't get a ton of minutes, but in those short minutes, he didn't utilize the skill sets that make him a valuable piece to this lack of height New York Knicks roster.
And can I add one thing? He's on the court with all of the end of the bench guys. So you know what I mean? It's not like he's on the court with starters and you have to play a role.
Yeah.
Like you're on the court with a bunch of end of the bench guys. Like, assert yourself, bro. Like,
Exactly.
That's what we're looking for. The aggressiveness to assert yourself into a situation. Listen, I don't care. Like I said, I don't care if you miss. I do not care if you miss at all. But if I see you not taking a shot, like I say the same thing about Josh last year that pissed me off, is I don't care that you can't shoot. You better take that shot if you're wide open because you're playing right into the defense.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take the shot, bro.
This is a great quote right here from East Blue Drew. He's not going to play 10 minutes if he's not doing anything. And so you listen to Mike Brown and he said, I'm trying to find a way, like trying to figure out how to get this kid minutes. But why is he going to try to find a way to get this kid more minutes if in those 3.5 minutes, he's not showing little glimpses of why you deserve 10 minutes,
It's too bad we weren't up 20, like you said, going into that fourth quarter, and they had a whole quarter to play. It really is too bad.
Yeah.
And Dorcasaurus, just every single player in the NBA has potential. That's why they're in there.
Of course.
Every single player in the NBA has potential. But what do you do when that opportunity comes? You know what I'm saying? And that's what it boils down to. If you don't take advantage of that opportunity, it might be 2-3 minutes. That's all you have. There's hundreds of guys who have the same story. Same exact story in the past 15, 20, 30 years that played basketball. I had 3 minutes to show who I was, and I didn't show it.
Yeah. So, no, that's a great point, Apollo, because I was talking to my son the other day about all those videos that are out there that it's like, hey, the worst NBA player can still go to your local gym and destroy everybody, and that's the worst of the worst in the NBA, still being able to be elite everywhere else. So the NBA is a very hard place to make your impact felt. And so if you look, even our point guard, look at our point guard. How did he get his full opportunity? Luka going down and them needing somebody to fill in for him. It wasn't like, whatever. But in those moments, you think if Jalen Brunson brought mediocrity, that he would be the captain of the Knicks right now? No. He saw his opportunity and he ate up every single minute that nobody could deny his talent. And that's what I'm saying is, yes, it's only 3.5 minutes, but that's 3.5 minutes more than you were getting before.
Correct.
Got to see that 3.5 minutes as your golden ticket to show what you have to offer, because you might not get 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes was like 3.5 hours on a Tibbs roster. So enjoy the 3.5 minute opportunity.
Facts.
Or you could just play crazy defense on somebody, show crazy effort. Like you're there. This is your time. Be all over somebody you're bigger than. Be all over them. Don't let them play them like a NFL safety. Show that you want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Use that 3 minutes. Use it.
Yeah. I want to shout out everybody that's in the chat. I know the show's been going late. Right now, there's 405 plus in the chat right now watching the show. We appreciate you guys locking in with us. I appreciate everyone on the panel. This is seriously a ton of fun. I freaking love this panel. Like, this is so good. So I want to do a little segment that this wasn't even part of our show until this last episode. Like, this actually made me create this part of the show. And this is called the run that back. All right. And so this is, you got to head out, Miss Nix. Oh, you're muted.
I hear.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. So this is the Nah Run That Back segment. All right. And this play actually created that segment. So I want us to talk about this a little bit because there's a few things that I saw here. And I appreciate everyone in the chat, whether you agree with us or not. Dorkosaurus, you know I love you, bro. Feel free to hop up the open panel. Would love to hear your takes on some things and let you get an actual platform to share your view. But I'm going to share this little video real quick. All right, so let's go here, and I'm going to go to my saved posts. And this is the Nah Run That Back segment right here, because this play, oh man, this is one.
Defense right
All
here.
right, you guys see that right there?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This was the play of the night for me.
Defense right here.
And takes it away.
Yeah.
Nearly tripped up. Throws it up to Yabusele.
Oh my God.
So from Towns, call it trying to
Defense.
All right. So my brother used to joke around all the time on plays like this, and he would do circus music. And that's exactly how I felt when I watched this play. It was seriously like clowns jumping out of a clown car when I saw that play. Because first of all, Yabu, I don't know what that was. Like, that was absolutely embarrassing watching that. Because if you look at what Yabu looked like in the summer when he's dunking on LeBron James for the French team,
Yeah.
I don't know what version of Yabu we got right now, but this is like one of those things where it makes you scratch your head and go, is this the same guy? And then second, to Kat, like, what are you thinking? Like, what have you seen from Yabusele all year that makes you think that throwing that pass up is going to produce anything but a shacked in a fool type moment? Like, you're not throwing it to Ant. You're not throwing it to Giannis, LeBron, or Obi. You're throwing that up to Yabusele, and that is the result. And if you thought anything else was going to be the result, I don't understand it. So let's talk about that moment. Like, what did you guys think in that moment? And what do we have to do to figure out how to get Yabusele back to that summer version that we went out and signed for? Because right now, that's not him. So I'll go to you first, Miss Nix. Ladies first.
What did I think when I saw that? Typical Knicks this season. That's what I thought. It's a joke, right? Like, this can't be for real. And this is what I think. This is what I think about the first 16 games. This can't be life. Like, to me, this is our season of destiny, and we're screwing this up. And that play was indicative of that. I understand why Cat did it, right? Like, if he didn't, he could have caught a foul. I don't know what. It looked like he was doing the right thing in the moment, but the result was terrible. Yabusele, to me, he has been the biggest disappointment of the season thus far. I was so happy when we signed him because I watched him in the Olympics, even watch him play some minutes with Philly. Yeah. And I'm like, cool, we needed this. I thought he was an upgrade from Precious, and I'm terribly freaking wrong at this point. I think he needs to lose some weight. He looks like he put on some pounds, and it's not good on his body. And I think, again, I think he needs more minutes, but the way y'all was saying, without being productive in those minutes, there's no point, right? Absolutely. So I don't know what to do. I think he's a key part of the bench that has been a disappointment for us. I don't know what he needs to do, but I think he needs to figure it out because he needs to figure it out or the Knicks need to move on from him.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you said that because, like, when you talk about the weight thing, like, I'm not trying to pick apart somebody's body, you know, like, but you're an NBA player, you know, like, this is your thing, you know? And so it's funny because anytime Yabusele checks in, my 4-year-old and my 7-year-old go, Mr. Big Booty coming in. I just have to die laughing because I'm like, man, you know, like, this is crazy. And watching it with my brother yesterday, he's like, it's crazy to me because every time Yabusele goes for like a loose ball or a pass, it looks like a lineman, trying to catch a fumble. Like they just like the way he's built and everything like that right now just looks like a lineman trying to grab a loose fumbled football. And it just looks so out of place on the NBA court. And it is frustrating because it's like, okay, I want you to work. I want you to get to where you need to go, because one thing that I want, and I'm thankful that he's one of those, is for years we didn't have players that wanted to come here. They didn't have pride in being a New Yorker. He has that, and I'm thankful for that. He's the first guy to post a graphic about the Knicks coming, playing that day and supporting his team. And I love that. But you can't do that at the expense of actually being a valuable asset to our team. Like, you're getting paid to be that power forward backup that we needed. And like you, all summer, I was ecstatic. I was like, holy crap. How many years of Julius Randle did we get frustrated that we didn't have a backup power forward and that Josh Hart was our backup power forward? And now we actually have one. But yet I'm like, crap, right now, I'd rather have Josh Hart as our backup power forward. Like, it's frustrating. So
Yeah,
what's your thoughts, Paulo?
Yeah, hold 1 second. And it wasn't a shot at his weight, right? Because some guys can play heavier, but some guys, once they put on weight, their body is different. If you remember back, I think it was year 2 or year 3 of Mitch, when he put on weight in the offseason, came to play, he looked like a different player. And he said, like, I wasn't ready for that. I couldn't play like that. I had to drop that weight. And I think that may be the case with him too.
Yeah. All right, Apollo, I know you got to get going. So I'll let you give your take before throwing it to Eddie. What's your thoughts?
I mean, right now the value isn't matching for what we got him for, and the fact that he's playing in front of any really bench minutes outside of the top 9, he's getting, and he's not really showing much in those minutes. So it's frustrating to watch. Like, seeing that play, I actually missed that play, and I'm glad I did until you showed me just now. There was a lot going on in my house last night, so I didn't catch like a lot of the the end of the game. But I'm just it doesn't help his case. You know what I mean? Like, he's been struggling all year. He hasn't really been consistent. I mean, at first his 3-point shot wasn't falling. Now it falls every now and then, but it's like, what are we going to what is his role here? What is if someone can tell me what Yabusele's role here is, you know what I mean? Like, I'll buy you lunch, you know what I mean? Because I truly don't know what his role is. Like, is he an enforcer? Is he a glue guy? Is like I don't know what he does really good.
He was supposed to be a floor spacer, but he's shooting 28% from 3.
Yeah, that's another part of the problem. So it's I don't know, and the second part of the question is, how does he get back to it? I don't know, man. Maybe the air is different out there in France. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I haven't seen him play like that since France, even in Philly.
Yeah,
he had some flashes in Philly. You know what I mean? And enough to make us excited for bringing him on. But now it's just like, a lot of times I see him get a foul called, and he takes it a lot harder than he should. And I'm starting to see that it's starting to beat on him mentally, and something has to happen. Maybe it's not working. Sometimes you got to let guys go before where they are. It starts, like, say he doesn't, it doesn't work out here. The faster you move on from the less it'll affect him, you know what I mean? And he can rebound within that same year. But I don't know, man. I think with the amount of minutes that he gets, it's not going to be easy for him to get into rhythm and to actually show us what he can actually be. And he's also not showing us that he should take somebody else's minutes with the minutes that he's getting either.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, because with this system of selfless offense and moving the ball, we have so many people that can produce buckets in our starting lineup. So that works, being able to pass it to different people, get different people open. But when your backup lineup is Tyler Kolek, Miles McBride, Jordan Clarkson. Like, you have nobody right now that you can dish it into the paint that they're worried about. That they're going to double team. They're going to, like, they're willing to leave Yabu open from anywhere on the court right now because they've watched what he's done. He's missed unguarded layups this season, like, so
Yeah.
so who's gonna guard him? Like, if you have Clarkson on the 3 and you have Yabu in the paint, why are you gonna guard Yabu in the paint when he's not producing any buckets? Like, I'm gonna double team Clarkson before I put a guy on Yabu. And that is the complete opposite of what we need for the system. Like, you need someone that's gonna be a presence in the paint so that you could dish it out. And so that's my one thing with Yabu right now is like, bro, you're not demanding any attention at all. No one sees you as a viable option in the offense, and you're not contributing really on the defense either. So what are your minutes doing right now except putting us at a deficit? So I think he really needs to step up. Apollo, I know you got to go. So I appreciate you, bro. For those that can stay, stick around. We'll keep talking. But good luck at work tomorrow, bro. Oh, do you work tomorrow or are you off?
Yeah, I work tomorrow and I'm off for the rest of the week, man. But so yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here. Gotta get to it. And salute to everybody here, Miss Nix, Eddie, Joe, of course. I'll talk to you later. And Phil, man, holla at you, bro. Appreciate you.
I'll see you later this week, bro.
Yep.
All right, bro. Have a good night.
All right, man.
Peace out, bro.
Later, Cap.
Nostalgic Nick said it's all in his head right now. So what are your thoughts on that, Eddie? What are your thoughts on him in general?
My thoughts on Yabusele, he's been an absolute disaster. He's been a disaster. I literally am counting down the days. 19 days and 53 minutes till we could trade this guy. He can't get out of here fast enough. He's been terrible. It's an overpay and it's a bad miss because you missed on a guy you gave $5.7 million to when we need a wing. And we need a sizable wing, and we need it quick because we see this team, it's small, and we can't defend. We get killed on the perimeter, especially from the 3. And this guy was brought in here to be sort of that guy that could defend the 3 and hit threes and a 3-and-D player. And he's been anything but that. He's been a disaster. So get him out of here. Call up the Pelicans and get me Sadiq Bey. Throw them their 5-second rounders and get him out of here. Sadiq Bey's my guy. He's playing starter minutes. He might cost you 5-second rounders, but if he could give you starter minutes, which what he's doing right now in New Orleans, he's playing like 28 minutes a night. He's playing good. And a few years ago, Sadiq Bey was one of the better wings in this league. He just got hurt, and he's starting to come back around now. If we have a chance to get a guy like that, bring him in here. Do what you got to do. Yabu, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out. They might. I mean, New Orleans might not even trade Sadiq Bey for him. But if the worst comes to worst, you got to build this guy's value up by February because he needs to go, man. He's not part of a winning team. We can't win with this guy. He's a scrub.
So I love that. Eddie's like my spirit animal. Like ever since I met Eddie, I'm like, man, if I was like a little more aggressive and like angry, I would be Eddie. And so like when you say Sadiq Bey, I can go back 2 seasons where before we, saw him where he was, I was like, why are we not going after guys like this? That have that like grit. Like it may not always show up on the scorecard, but they're always the player that's going to impact the game off the bench. He's always been that player.
And he's what we need, Phil, like a wing. That's the NBA now. Tall wings. It's what we need.
Yeah. And we have and that's the frustrating thing is like we bought into Yabusele having, thinking that he was going to be something that he wasn't. And it's like, okay, we're having conversations about trading Cat. Why are we not having conversations about guys like Yabu, that haven't produced any games that have made us extremely happy? And like I said, I liked Yabu coming here. I was excited about it. Like you saw my, videos. I was like, yo, we finally got a backup 4. I'm excited about it, and I like him. He was following the account and I was like, yo, I appreciate what you coming here. I'm excited for it. but I still have to think from someone who wants to see a chip. And right now, what we're seeing, that's not what we're going to get from Yabu unless something drastically changes overnight. So I have to move past I like this guy as a guy and look at him as an NBA player and say, he's not what we thought we were going to buy into. He has not produced even 1/5 of what we thought we were going to get. So we have to look at the opportunities and the options that are out there. And so for me, Sadiq Bey is one of those guys that I really, really have liked and I think would produce for us. That would be, extremely valuable. And what I like about Sadiq Bey is he's a hard worker on, both ends of the floor. And so I think that's something that we should look into is what changes need to happen, because I think that we have kind of been surprised at how much harder the East is than we thought it was going to be. Like, I think we really thought that we were going to have smooth sailings to the top of the East. And if you look, we don't have top ceilings. And some of the teams that we've barely won against are bottom feeders. Like, why are we struggling against bottom feeders? If you look, you have freaking Detroit and Toronto and Miami, like thriving.
They're great.
Yeah, they're great. Detroit is everything that we're not when it comes to height and aggressiveness. When you look at the Heat, we've had issues with them all season already. When you look at who was the other team I said?
Toronto.
When you look at Toronto, they are like gelling in a way that like we didn't think that they
look great
would.
too.
Yeah, and they're starting to produce really, really well. And guys like RJ are finding their footing on a team in a different way than we thought that they could. We thought they were going to blow it up this summer, and now
all big wings too, Phil. All those three of those teams, all built around big wings.
Yep. So I think we need to figure out something, because I don't feel like the way that this team is looking right now gets us to the ECF. I really don't. I don't think the way that we're playing at this current moment gets us to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, like that's what I think there. Dorkosaurus, I know you asked for the link. I just posted it. If you're going to come up. We got about another 14 minutes left before I close down. But for those that are not following Miss Knicks, please follow her. Like, I love chatting it up with her. She is such a sweetheart. Everyone that's part of her team are just good people. And if you're not following Eddie Presti, I don't know what rock you freaking live under, but you need to. This guy is seriously one of my favorite people in the Knicks community. Like, if I decide to hang it up one day and totally like get out of this Knicks community online, Eddie Presti.
Yeah, there's some days you want to do that. Everybody wants to get out of Knicks Twitter.
Facts.
That's for sure.
So, but Eddie Presti will always be part of my life. So
if
you guys want to hop on the chat, hop on. We got about 12 more minutes. But what I want to say is I'm going to get your guys' opinion. I'm thinking about doing another morning show. All right. We had some fun with the morning brew, me and my brother and that other guy that I refuse to name. But I'm thinking about doing that again. It was a different crowd, people that, had some time during the day. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat and everything like that. I'm debating between 3 names. I'm thinking Orange and Brew Skies instead of Blue Brew, and it'll be the different coffee brands that we're highlighting that day.
Oh, you got to retire the brew, bro.
Oh, retire the brew?
I think that shit has to go.
All right, you're right.
After that disaster, I don't know.
All right. Well, we got to figure it out, because I love coffee, so okay. regardless of the cancerous things that came with, the name, there was also good names. It was funny because I was shooting the CP event and someone was like, "Oh, yo, you're the morning brew."
Oh, you did that? You did the video?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So someone was like, "Yo, you were the morning brew. Where can I find you?" And I was like, "All right, cool." So I gave him a card. So, I might have to stick with the brew just to get people back in the fold. But, so I thought Orange and Brew Skies or the Brew York Knicks, so, we're chopping up some names. So if you guys think of anything, let me know.
The Hangover.
The Hangover. Oh,
I mean, right? You do the whiskey at night and the hangover in the morning. I don't know. The Knicks Hangover.
All right, Lee. I just posted Lee. No, not Lee. Jay Ellis just asked for the link, so I just sent it to him right there. Nostalgic Nick said we need a morning show. Bro, what do you think? Do I need to bring the coffee vibes back and stuff like that? And yeah, if my brother wants to hop on it, my brother's always got an open door to come with me. Just like Eddie has an open door all the time. Look at that. My guy, Staten MYK. This is one of my favorite people in the world. He said orange and blue skies is valid. All right, that might have to happen. So orange and blue skies might happen. All right. So let's go with closing thoughts. All right. We got a game coming up. All right. Our next one is tomorrow against the Hornets. Me and my brother will be at the stadium. So if you are in Charlotte, please make sure to hit me up so that we can chop it up and hang out. I'll be hanging out some cards and some stickers before the game. What are your guys' thoughts about tomorrow's game against the Knicks? I'll go with you first, Mr. Joe. Hey, that's the sticker I'm talking about. My girl killing it right there. All right, Joe, what do you think about tomorrow night, bro? You there, Joe? It says you're muted. You got to unmute.
Yeah, you're muted.
Unmute your mic.
He's got it.
While you figure that out, I'm going to throw it to Eddie. What are your thoughts on tomorrow night?
Well, for some reason, Charlotte always plays us close. I think if you go back to the last 3 or 4 times, every game's been decided within 5 points. Surprisingly, they're one of the teams that play us close. I think we had 1 blowout versus them last year, and the other 2 were close. I hope that's not the case tomorrow. I hope we go in and it's a wire-to-wire victory where we just put them away early and they don't even have a chance. Like we're up 20 the entire game. That's what I want. I want an easy win and then worry about that cup game Friday because I want to win that. Because if we win, I think then we're in the qualification, right? We go to the I think you're in the quarterfinal, whatever it is. Yeah. So obviously tomorrow I want a nice, easy game. Give me 20 points. Give me a 20-point win versus them. Hopefully, Cat, that momentum carries over, and he's still continuing to do that. And everybody just gives you a collective win, and that's it. Just give us a collective win. Everybody performs. We hit our shots. We defend, and in the fourth quarter, we see kids. That's what I want tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what's your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. Is LaMelo playing tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We're 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, true. But I just one of the things I noticed about this Knicks team, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, we can't stop the ball at all. So if we're gonna let these guys get into the paint and drive and kick and allow wide open threes, it's gonna be a closer game than we want it to be. So, I mean, the Knicks need to be strong at the point of attack, not let these guys get to wherever they want to get to, which is something that we've been doing a lot of this year. And if we could do that, we can contain the ball. We should beat them pretty easily. But, I mean, with no OG Anunoby, I don't know, man. This defense is not good right now. It's not good.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, Mr.
I mean, they're a doormat team. I mean, come on. Even though we're down, guys, we got Karl-Anthony Towns. We got Jalen Brunson. This shouldn't be a game. This should be a
beat them.
And what you're saying,
that it might be,
I get it.
I just hope that it's not. I just hope it's not. I mean, but yeah,
they do play us close.
Yeah, we just played a 2-point game against the Dallas Mavericks. So I mean, I'm not putting any. I'm not putting anything past this team right now, man. Like the Knicks just need to get. I don't care how they win, Eddie. Just win.
Exactly.
Just win, Eddie. I don't care about style points. Just let's stay in the W column, man.
Kick their ass so we get ready for Friday. Like, just let this be easy. Maybe we'll get an easy one. Maybe. I doubt it though.
Shout out to my guy Monkey D. Ant.
Oh, man. What up, Ant?
What up, Ant? Appreciate you.
I hope so.
To Eddie's point, though, like, both of y'all's point, we just went up against the Nets, who have a worse record than the Charlotte Hornets. And we were toe-to-toe till the third quarter. Like, and so that makes me go, what the heck are we doing? We cannot allow these games to even be close for 3 quarters. Like, these are the games that we need to be outshining these teams by halftime, where it's just a walk in the park. Because for other teams, it would be. So for me, I want to see that. What are your thoughts for tomorrow night, Miss Nix?
Can I just say
Go
one
ahead,
more
Vic.
thing to Kev
Yeah.
Rodriguez? The Knicks have a 106 defensive rating when OG's on the court. They're an elite defense when he's on the court. It's when he's
Yes,
off the
they're the
court
best.
that they're really bad. Yeah.
He's such a key part to this team. I think he's more important than Towns, but that's just me. That's a different conversation for a different day. My bad.
I mean, the defense it still
Oh,
struggles
I
with
think so
OG
too.
on the court behind the 3-point arc. Like teams, even with OG in the game, are lighting us up from behind the 3-point line. That's a fact.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on tomorrow, Miss Nix?
By any means necessary. We have to win. I don't want to see another loss to a trash team.
No.
But we have to be careful with them because they have shooters. And our downfall is defending the 3. And they have a LaMelo Ball that will shoot from the logo if we let him. Not saying it will go in, but it might. They have guys that will light us up. So we have to defend. I think
You never know what he's gonna do.
right, exactly. So we need to defend to the best of our ability. That's for one. And that's not only this game. This is every game. We need our guys, our Cat and Macau, to get into the paint. Open up the 3-point line. Make it easy on us. But yeah, by any means necessary, we need to win. We need to put belt to ass, like I say, and make them submit so we can see our young guys and we can continue to develop them.
Yep. I agree. At the end of the day, this is not a game that should be competitive. But unfortunately, like the Knicks have gone in to teams where we should easily take the victory and we've underperformed. Like we, for some reason, continue to lower our play skills down to their level. And it's unfortunate and it's frustrating. And so I think the key to me for tomorrow is not being stagnant. Like I really believe that if we try to go a player to player shot instead of team to team shot, then we will lose the game. Why? Because you have guys like LaMelo that will continue to shoot and continue to make ridiculous shots. Like we can do that, and so we're not trying to go Brunson versus LaMelo or Cat versus LaMelo. We're trying to go Knicks versus Hornets. And if we go Knicks versus Hornets, we're the definite victor. But if we go player for player, tat for tat, then it's one of those games that's going to be an unfortunate thing for us to watch. Like if we go team versus team, we should see our, rookies and backups be able to play from the third quarter on. And that's just the truth of the matter. So hopefully we see that. Last question I'll ask, and just a yes or no answer. I don't want any backup to it. People are saying LaMelo Ball should come to the New York Knicks. What are your thoughts? I'll go with you, Joe. Yes or no?
Shit. That's tough. He's so talented. No.
All right. Knicks-ish.
Hell no.
Eddie Presti.
No chance, man.
Yeah,
No
I
chance.
agree. I feel like that ship has sailed. We need to focus on our wings and 3-point shooters, and not just shooters that are flashy and want to, make the game about them, but people that want to play a role and get a winning championship. I feel like LaMelo is a poster. He is a flashy advertisement, but he's not what the Knicks need to win. So
you don't love the game.
No, he doesn't.
And
he
we
loves
don't need
himself.
the daddy drama on the bench.
No. Great
Himself.
player, very talented, but maybe 2-3 years ago, I would have said yes, not now.
Yep. So I appreciate everyone in the chat. There's over 485 of you right now rocking with us. That seriously means the world to us. We appreciate you as we continue to try to build here on this new channel. Shout out to the KOT family for opening up their doors after the catastrophe that was what happened last year. And so shout out to my guy, Eddie Presti. He experienced some of that dumpster fire himself and is still here putting out amazing content. Appreciate him. My guy Joe over at the Guard Up Knicks podcast. My homegirl Miss
Yo,
Nix.
appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course. Appreciate you all. Real quick, before I close, let people know where they can follow you, starting with you, Miss Nix.
So you can follow me on all platforms at Miss Nix. We do a live podcast, post-game show every game, 30 minutes after a game. You can follow us at Knicks and Ish. That's Knicks, the letter N-I-S-H, on all platforms.
Love it. And I know some of y'all are like, well, we can't because, y'all got a show.
Replay.
There's
you
a thing
can replay us. We good with that.
Yeah, exactly. There's that replay gang, which is how I support the queen. So get on there and support her. All right. Eddie Presti, where can they find you?
At Eddie Presti on X and at Knicks Addiction on YouTube, but that might be changing soon because I might have to rebrand the channel because I have 2 or 3 strikes against me for using a Mike Brown interview. So I'm going to do probably a Knicks and Mets channel together on YouTube. So that's good. So when I come up with that, I'll let everybody know.
If y'all think of that, the genius of Eddie Presti needs to be on the KOT show, drop him a comment and let him know because I'm trying to push him in that direction because I love this guy with my whole heart. All right, Joe, where can they find you?
Find me at Regular Joe on Twitter and Instagram. I believe it's either Regular Joe or Regular Joe 10. I can't remember right now.
Beautiful. And you can also find him on the Guard Up Knicks show with my guy Apollo. And for the different brands that are, supported today, I just put in the Redline link with the code Knicks to get your free shipping. This right here is mathematics to purchase this shirt or to also be able to get their jerseys representing your different area of NYC. And lastly, this hat from my homies at Gusto NYC that are always supporting the channel. So if you guys have been watching, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Like always, God bless, drink responsibly, and let's go Knicks. Let's try to get that W tomorrow. Me and my brother will be in the building. So if you are going to be there, make sure to drop me a comment and we will connect. So appreciate you guys all, and I'll see you next week. Deuces.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let